the roost. He let the out the roost. He let the beats build, bitch. And we never switch. Even if I'm rich, I'll be broke like I'm Mitch. Niggas talking down, but that's headed in the wrong direction. But I knock that shit out like the boxing section. Cause they can't touch what they can't see. All I gotta do is be the same me. All I gotta do is keep it cheap. Always be the same me. While I'm solid, boy, they can't change me. No.
We live from the boxing section, you dusty ass niggas. What's going on, man? We live from the boxing section, man, with the Car Chronicles. Birthday edition, man. Salute to everybody's coming in. We got a very, very, very special guest out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? Big dog. You know, the Lukester, an author, you know what I'm saying, a reporter, a boxing insider, a legend in this boxing game. My brother, what's going on, dog? How you feeling?
Woof. You know, I just got my champ. I got a Cracker Jack box, so I just got my Cracker Jack ring on. And buy 1,000 Cracker Jack boxes, you get one of these.
Talk to the people about how legendary that ring is, real quick.
Yeah, it takes a lot of eating candy to get one of these. You gotta eat a lot of candy to get this. It says USA Boxing Gym of the Year, and then it says 2021. You know, it says 2021. It says Oxen Hill Boxing. So you know you gotta eat a lot of Cracker Jacks to get one of those.
Man, congratulations on that, man. What all goes into getting Boxing Gym of the Year?
I mean, you got to just know Jamal Harvey. He's one of those #1 fighters. Him and Daryl Davis. It's like knowing the boxing section, right? If you know the right people, you're tapped in. You know the right people. All of a sudden, you get your accolades because you're speaking to the right people. But before we get any further, I want to say my book is out, and guess what? I'm giving at least 1 to 2 copies to you. I'm not sure when I'm giving them to you, and you just give them out however you want on this show. Or, I mean, shoot, if you see a kid struggling, giving 2 copies for you exclusive for your program to hand out to the people because I enjoy your program so much.
I appreciate that, and we also most definitely want to patronize your book for sure. And that's most definitely
for sure. But you know, like I'm not out here hooting and hollering, telling people, "Oh man, you got to get it." Look, times are tough. I understand having a budget. I'm the only thing I've ever believed in enough to push as hard as I can the way I want to push. So I have to push to the fullest potential of myself, because if I can't push myself as hard as I can, why would I push anyone else that way? You know what I mean? Like, I know what I'm capable of, so why not push that to the furthest extent? And to the furthest extent is taking care of people that I consider my people, like you, the boxing section, grassroots, who have a great following. Make sure that you always have a couple of copies. So if you want to do something to engage your great listeners, they're not fans, they're listeners. They tune in, they check in on your life. If you want to do a giveaway, boom, we got you, you know? So that's a big thing with me, is to say thank you to the people who also give me inspiration.
Man, most definitely, man. I just appreciate being a part of the fold, man. You know what I'm saying?
You tapped in. You're part of the mob, bro. Are you coming out Saturday? Are you coming out to Lions Dance Sparring?
I'm gonna try my best, man. Cause I don't know what people got planned for me this weekend, man. With my birthday,
When's my birthday's on Tuesday.
Yeah, my birthday's today, so.
Oh, Happy birthday boy. What are you, 22?
34, man.
Okay,
30,
okay,
34 strong.
okay. Well, happy birthday. Definitely gotta get you a couple of birthday books, and we gotta get you a cupcake next time I see you, or some type of candy type assortment, because that's a birthday like present. I appreciate being able to talk to you on your birthday, and I just love the energy you bring to boxing, bro. 100%. I just love the energy. I love the conversations, and I love the different personalities you bring on here. A lot of times, boxing conversations, why I don't really enjoy it, is it's a lot of the same people saying the same stuff, and it's real fun to hear the assortment of people and the different views. And what I also love about your program, bro, is how you guys aren't on someone's helmet if they don't have your same views. It's like a discussion. It's kind of like the barbershop. So I just really enjoy that.
Yeah, well, sometimes it gets out of hand. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You
Sometimes
said sometimes it's up.
sometimes it gets crazy. Hey, this is an open panel, man. Even though we got a legend on the panel, it's open. It's an open panel. We just got a legend on the panel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Uh,
and that legend is named Kyle of the boxing section, and he's got an intro over Tupac Shakur's Changes, and it makes me boogie every time I hear it.
yeah, man. My boy TK, man, one of the best rappers I've ever heard in my life, bro.
If I was a rapper, bro, I'd go all in on being a white boy. I'd have a backpack. I'd be like, I'm going to class. And like that would be my gimmick. I'd just be all in on like being a college white kid. That would be like, because I feel like if you're a rapper, it sounds bad, but you have to go all in on a stereotype of some sort.
Yeah. Viva la
Okay.
Mexico!
Hey, happy birthday, homie. For you? Yeah. What's good, dog? Oh, shit. Hold on. I got to do this the right way. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
You're a fucking nut.
Oh,
What up,
shit.
baby
Hey, you made
dog?
it to another year, big dog.
Man, I
Congratulations.
appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
What's up? What's up, big dog? How you doing, man?
Hey, it's all love. I'm just on here trying to say happy birthday to someone, just hanging out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Missed
man.
out last night, Kyle. I thought he was going to come on, but I know you was probably, doing the birthday festivities.
We were it was up. You know what I mean? We was up last night, dog. You know me dancing all over the place and shit. We did karaoke last night, man. Trap karaoke was lit.
What song did you do?
I did in this club. I did Bell Biv DeVoe, of course. You know what I'm saying? You know that's my shit. And
Did you do a rock song? Oh,
You're on mute. You're on mute.
He hit the button.
Oh,
He hit the button.
it's trap karaoke. So I did Love in This Club, and then I did Poison.
I would have did Slop on my knob, like corn on the cob.
Of course, bro. Of course.
I think a good one would be Juvenile Slow Motion.
Oh,
Like I think the trick to karaoke would be you want to do a ladies song, because the ladies, if they get motivated, it's gonna make your performance look better. So you can't really do like a real gangster, like I'm a be crazy song, because like I think you'd want the females kind of rule the record industry, right? If a girl likes a record, 10 guys are gonna buy that record because they want to be around that one girl. So I think that's probably like the logic to being a good karaoke act, is you got to find a song that meets a balance with the female mind, but the men can tap their toes to.
Oh yeah.
or the one classic that puts bitches down that they all love is "Ain't No Fun That the Homies Can't Have None." I don't know why, but girls all over the world sing that shit. Hey, you on mute again? You on mute again?
Man, it's his birthday. He can be on mute.
Cadence, man. I think that's the cadence, man.
It's gotta be.
When I met you last night,
Baby.
baby.
Yep.
Before.
Yeah, nah.
I mean,
It's crazy because the DJ always stopped the music and you just hear all kinds of females. And you ever lick my balls? I'm like, but at the end of the night, you bitches don't want to lick no balls. So which one is it? Stop perpetrating.
Corrupt had a good run of being like one of the world's best crap talkers. And that was like his origin story of like getting that label. Like where he says, if I gave a F about a B, then I'd always be broke. you know.
Facts.
And
Facts.
then I mean, he had a slew of real good insulting and borderline ignorant lyrics that I enjoyed in my young adulthood.
Oh man.
Oh, mute again. Fuck it up, J. Kyle.
Man, I gotta do my break fix, man. It's bad. It's truly bad. Like I gotta get my shit together. I gotta get these breaks down.
So you gotta go to your Pikes homies, tell them it's your birthday, man, and see what they can work out for you real quick. I know you got the little Mexican homies out there in the car shop.
Lady, what are you doing?
What's up? You on your way home or what's good? You on the way?
No, I gotta drop a jacket off to my wife, man.
Look at you on your birthday doing duties for the wifey. You a real one, Kyle.
Yeah, man. It's cold as hell out here right now, so I gotta get her this jacket, man. She's in a cold ass hallway, so I gotta get her this jacket.
Hey, I'm gonna take over the show. Jalen says, "What are you guys' thoughts on Keyshawn Davis versus Frank Martin?" We want only wrong answers to start this off. No, I'm just playing. You know how sometimes on the internet they go wrong answers only.
I got Keyshawn all day.
Yeah, I don't see how anybody can beat that kid, bro.
With Keyshawn?
Yeah, unless you got like Javante Davis, like knockout power. I don't.
Shit. But yeah, Keyshawn big and strong, man. I don't think he's gonna be at that weight class for too much longer, actually.
I mean, he's good, but you got to also remember he's real young. You know, he's a young fighter. He's still growing into his potential. Like my friend Dakota said, he has elements of like Andre Berto with how explosive he is. He's got real good distance. He's a real well-rounded fighter. I think Frank Martin also, because we didn't see his hero story and his origin story, it's easy to underestimate Frank, right? Because we didn't see his come up. I think part of fans, we love seeing a guy from the first fight rise to the top. So we're going to have a little bit more bias to keep it a dollar bill. That's like really to me like a year and a half, 2 years away because Keyshawn's still young in the game.
Yeah, for me, I need for top ranked fighters to do two things for me. Stop talking about Muhammad Ali and stop calling out fighters on other promotional companies because they're not jumping ship and neither are you. And also Keyshawn Davis is fighting 8-rounders.
But I mean, he's probably going to be in that 10 round pretty soon. Like I think that was, what was it, his second 8-rounder?
I don't know. I think he's going to be 24 and still fighting 8 rounds. He's 23 right now. I think his next fight, he's going to turn 24 before his next fight, and it'll still be an 8-rounder. But beyond that, I also think that they'll be saving Frank Martin for Tank Davis because they don't have a lot of inventory.
I mean, makes sense. But I mean, I think that Keyshawn wants to get to a 10-rounder strictly for money because you get paid more to do 10 and 12. And I think that if you look at all these television networks, whether it's Showtime, ESPN, DAZN, they're looking for people that can take over main event spots and they can sell tickets and so forth and so on. And I think Keyshawn is becoming a very popular name and they want to keep him in that co-main and possibly graduate to a main event spot next year because next year is 2023. That means the Olympic trials are next year. So I think the hope would be he can get himself into that title contention around the time of next year's Olympic trial kind of cycle.
You think he's going to go for the Olympics again? I thought they're discontinuing by 2030. The 2028 is going to be the last one.
He's not going to go for the Olympic trials again. But I look at boxing kind of like how we used to look at quarterbacks in the NFL. So by the time the Olympics come around, so the Olympic trials be 2023. They'll be contenders, but Keyshawn won't be there. But when the trials roll around, I believe Keyshawn's going to be looking to either take on a famous name, a contender spot fight, or be challenging for a form of a title in that capacity because that's going to be his window of, okay, in 2020, I was the Olympic trials winner of that tournament. So now 3 years after, now is my time to emerge as basically people are kind of anointing him as it goes Errol Spence Jr. It goes Deontay Wilder, Errol Spence Jr., Shakur Stevenson, and people feel Keyshawn Davis is the next American Olympic superstar. If that is true, that is kind of his time to rise up if it's his moment.
All right, so I agree with you that he will be looking for that moment. I just don't agree with that has anything to do with Frank Martin. Like that moment that he's looking for. And also, if Devin Haney gets this Lomachenko fight, I think, and he's looking for that sort of fight at 135 pounds, I think the whole division is going to be slim pickings. Because I think Devin Haney is going to fight Loma, beat Loma, and then move up. In which case, you'll have just Tank Davis and a whole bunch of people who have been beaten a bunch of times by a bunch of different guys. So
But
it's going to be
there's
hard.
nothing wrong with that.
That's it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe if you're Shakur Stevenson, right? Because he'll be the next guy coming up through that particular landscape. If Shakur Stevenson runs through all that stuff, who is Keyshawn Davis supposed to get that name off of?
Well, I think the good thing about boxing, right, is we as fans, because you make a lot of sense, man. You make a lot of sense. And when I listen, I'm just like, wow, like I don't have to say much because what you're saying makes sense, especially from the business side. I always believe there's going to be fighters like Abdullah Mason. There's going to be fighters like Charlie Sheehy. There's going to be guys that emerge. There's going to be an Emmanuel Navarrete. He's probably coming to lightweight. Boxing's always seeing upsets. It's always seeing the board change. So the landscape this year won't be the landscape next year. And that's kind of one of the exciting things about it. What I think we're going to see is, to me, Shakur and Devin Haney feel to be top 5 pound for pound level fighters right now. They're just young, so they don't get the accolades and accomplishment. I'd also throw Jermell Charlo in that mix. Jermell Charlo has fought a tremendous schedule and does not get the praise for the what he has done in his period of time fighting the best fighters. And I think that the scary thing for him is when we look back on history, people can easily talk down his achievements, but he targeted the best fighters in the best moments. It's not his fault that they didn't achieve after he beat them, So I think that there's always going to be guys out there for a guy like Keyshawn. There's always going to be guys for Haney and Shakur. What I look for is I just look at these guys and I go, who's going to be that fight that makes all of us want to meet up somewhere and all of us create a special memory where we're there with our wives or our loved ones or our family. And we go, man, that Shakur Stevenson special. Man, Devin Haney special. Because those are the moments that we tent pole our lives around.
Yeah, like most definitely. So I think boxing is in good hands with the talent pool, right? Like totally. Like Abdullah Mason, awesome, 18 years old. Shushu, they're bringing him along, at 126 pounds, also really, really good guy. And you got Bam Bam down there, like making noise. I think for the most part, I think the sport is in good hands, but just like specifically the 135 pound division seems to be in flux. And the old guard, and I use old guard loosely, just the guys who've been at 35 for a minute, who've fought for the titles and all this stuff. They're pretty beat up, and the marquee names seem to be moving on. So it just seems to me that's going to be a tough road to hoe for the next generation coming through. It we got Shakur there now, and we got Keyshawn Davis there now, but Keyshawn Davis is still in the prospect phase. Shakur is is hunting for a title in a third division kind of stuff, and I don't see the marquee names coming up in the next 12 months. And the ones that are there, right? The guys like Isaac Cruz or Frank Martin or Michelle Rivera, like those kinds of guys, I think will be reserved for Tank.
I mean, you make good points. My only thing is, as a selfish boxing fan, I want to put pressure on all promoters to give us the best fights, because it's like, imagine how good an Isaac Cruz versus Shakur Stevenson fight is. And both fighters want it, but we're in this world where it's network exclusivity. So I feel because we have network exclusivity with promoters, now promoters may not want to jump between networks because they want to keep that that deal so strong with the network partner. So I understand what you're saying. It's just I think that the sport is always down in the dumps and it's always in a good place, if that makes sense. I feel like there's always going to be, because I'm looking at a guy like Charlie Sheehy from San Francisco, very underestimated, and a guy like Ernesto Tito Mercado, he doesn't even have a promoter right now. These are two fighters that I think that within the next 2 years, they could go on a real run, and you need adversaries. Keyshawn Davis beat Charlie Sheehy in the Olympic trials. Ernesto Tito Mercado didn't face Keyshawn Davis in the Olympic trials in the finals because he was sick. Those are storylines. And I think that we need some stories as fans and compelling rivals. And I think that those type of guys, maybe over the next couple of years, I think Abdullah Mason will pretty likely fight Keyshawn Davis. I think there's good guys. I think they're just kind of buried on the undercard and they're not quite there yet.
Yeah, I like Abdullah a lot. He's like 6 year Keyshawn's junior.
Yeah, he's very, very young, but I mean, I've got I actually told this story to Kyle over COVID. The father, Valiant, called my phone, and I'll always remember it because he was kind of asking me like, what the heck do I do and stuff. And he goes, I got these 5 sons and they all can fight. And I'm going through depression. I'm in the house. My cousin has just passed away, bunch of boring stuff. And 3 months later, they take a trip to Las Vegas and they're signed. And I'll always remember, it's like, oh, this wasn't just the parent calling me saying their kid is good. This is the good fighter who they made it out and so forth and so on.
Yeah, I think all these young boys need to fight each other. But I will say this, I know it's probably gonna rub a lot of feathers, but I think Bob Aaron's one of the best at building fighters up to a certain point. I think once they become like mainstream, main household names, he kind of probably could do better. But I think with the young fighters, he has a good track record of building them up to be household names. So I'm trusting in Keyshawn. I think Keyshawn had the right personality too. He don't have that Earl or Spence personality. We don't really like talking. He loves talking. So I think his name's gonna get out there. Attaching like him, Shushu, and Shakur kind of being like a little clique, I think is gonna help too. I mean, because Shakur's already he's on his way, man. He's on his way.
He just needs the accolades. He just needs the accolades for the achievement. I'd also like to give praise to Brad Goodman and Bruce Trampler, the matchmakers at Top Rank. They do a great job at building these fighters and testing these fighters. If you look, like Duke Reagan had a tough fight, but that's a fight that's going to build Duke to be a world champion. We looked at Floyd Cashflow this weekend. He had a tough fight, but that can groom you into being a world champion. Brad Goodman and Bruce Trampler do a great job, along with Ron Katz and Robert Diaz, of preparing fighters and really molding them into champions.
I think that referee dropped the ball though, because had he did what he was supposed to do, Cashflow would have stopped that dude.
Wait, what about the referee and Cashflow?
Remember, so he took hella long for the guy to like get the dude to stand, like to walk to him and stuff like that. And then by the time he did it, the round was over.
I mean, that stuff happens, bro. You know, like it's not right. It's kind of like how, like, if a superstar is fighting a fighter and you're working with them, you have to know if a superstar hits an ollie shuffle on you or something spectacular, there's a chance the referee's going to stop that fight if you go on the ropes, because they're doing the superstar moment. And whether we like it or not, a lot of people are fans of this sport that work in this sport. And whether you like it or not, if you're a judge and you're judging a boring fight, you're probably thinking about, where can I go to Fuddruckers or go to eat after the fight, than you are about the fight you're in, especially if it's a fight that's at a regional hotel, you know? So, I mean, that's just human nature.
Nah, fuck that, Kyle. Let them go out. If they ain't out and they ain't on the ground, it ain't over. You know how I feel about that shit. Fuck that. I want to see fighters knock the fuck out, incapacitated, or some shit, or out on their feet, whether they're just laying on the ropes, fight night style, you feel me? But, I mean, if a motherfucker's still standing and taking shots, I mean, he's still in the fight. But fuck, this thing I don't understand. why does anyone give a fuck about brain damage in one fight? Like if one fight, like you getting your ass whooped, you got the one towel, you take too many punches, but then you go and fight like 10 more fights for your career. You obviously don't give a fuck about brain damage. You're going back in there and getting punched again. So I don't see how the one fight compared to the next 10 you have is somehow saving you. Nah, you know what you signed up for. There's a chance to get knocked the fuck out in front of everyone. There's a chance to get brain damage later in life. There's a chance you have serious injuries. And that's why fighters should get paid as much money as they possibly can, like at all times.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from. It's just there's a Neil Young song. I'm sure probably most people have never heard, but it's called "The Needle and the Damage Done," and it's basically about heroin usage. And it's like, yeah, it's hard to understand why you need to put things in place to protect people from certain drugs until you see the damage the drugs ravage on a community. I think that when you start to know fighters and you see the long-term effects that fighting has on them over time, sometimes those opinions soften in life. When you see, I get where you're coming from, but I think also that opinion, as you're a fan of the sport and as you see some of your favorite fighters age, I think that opinion might change over time.
Well, that's what I mean. I formulated the opinion actually over time. Like when I was younger, I probably didn't feel as strongly about it. I was just entertained by it. But now it's just like, because at the end of the day, all these fighters choose to do it. Ain't nobody forced them to do it. They can quit after any fight they want. At any fight they want, they can say, hey, I'm done with this. Too much damage to my body. Not feeling it. Whatever. They choose to keep going in there. Even if they are Roy Jones Jr. at the end of his career fighting in Russia, getting his ass knocked out. Like, those are decisions they made that will affect their legacy and their body. So at the end of the day, it's like, as a fan, even I could say, watching some of these fighters, like, bro, you should have hung them up. You know, you're gonna end up like James Toney and some of these people with the slur, with the slush mouth. But if they choose to do it, then they choose to do it. And once you sign that contract, then you know it all's fair, love, and war, man. Ain't no mercy in that motherfucker. So I think it's up to each fighter individually. So if they're chasing the check at the risk of their own health, then why is it up to me, the ref, or anyone else to watch out for them if they don't give a fuck about themselves?
Right. So there's an issue, right? Why do people, if you know it's detriment to your health, why are they in a position where they have to do this? Because I don't think if anyone had a choice to make the kind of money that you make in boxing, if you could do that in some other thing, that they would choose boxing. I think there's an economic factor to consider as to why people box professionally. And also, I think there's those people like to fight, and trying to parse that thing out, I think is where you're talking about. You don't want to get involved in that stuff. Like, let a grown person be a grown person. And I'm with you on that. But the coercive measures that drive people to have to punch another person in the head for money, that's not really on the individual, right? They don't like.
That's saving hoes talk again. Coercion is not the person's fault.
I understand what you're talking about.
That fell for it.
I understand that you are coming from a bootstrap and an individual and taking personal responsibility and accountability. I understand your argument, right? The issue is when you have a guy, let's just take one person, Deontay Wilder, right? He's got a daughter with medical bills and he drives a Pepsi truck. What is he supposed to do?
He did what he does. Now, look, the shit he went through with Fury, and if this next fight with Helenius, I mean, I think we're all predicting him to knock Helenius the fuck out. But if he ends up getting knocked the fuck out and doesn't look like the same Deontay Wilder, why should he keep fighting? He's accomplished everything. If he wasn't smart, okay, now the thing is, a lot of these fighters aren't smart with their money, so they have to keep fighting, or they're taking bad contracts.
Right. So I get what you're saying. And that's a little bit more about. I think there's some discipline. Like, there's few guys like Ward or Hagler who was like, I've had enough of this. I can't put my body through this. I'm going to walk away at their top of their game and never kind of look back. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, like, these guys have been doing, like a Tank, right? You take a guy like Tank, who boxing was a refuge from like a broken home. And he's been doing that since he's 7 years old. That's all he knows.
No, I get that. But not right now. Even right now, Tank can retire and have a great life for the rest of his life.
But he doesn't know how to do anything else. because he hasn't been doing anything else.
He can learn.
I mean, I guess I got you, but that's a completely different process to like, if you were to have that standard for everyone, like there's very few people who in the middle of their, especially it's like something that is like, that's changed their life for the better, that they've dedicated their entire life to, even if it's something that is making your life bad and you've been doing it your whole life. That is hard. Like habits are hard to break, either good habits or bad habits. They're just hard to break. And if you're doing stuff since before you even were able to like to give informed consent, before you even were a personality, before your brain was developed, you've been doing that for that long, like try to just cut out television. See how hard that is. Like now if television paid you, right, tens of millions of dollars, then yeah, I mean, you could talk about how, you know, this destructive nature of the content being put on television, and you may talk about how it like dumbs down society and it tells everyone a bunch of lies and gives people false hope and disillusion, but like, are you going to stop doing this shit? Like,
I mean, you can if it's that big of a problem.
You can, but I mean, I'm just saying that's a really tough, like very few human beings do this. Like the people who do that are special. Like most people do what they're used to doing.
Yeah, but if somebody told you that watching TV was going to kill you, or you were going to have brain damage and you weren't going to be able to talk in a couple of years, I think most people, well, not most people, I think most people would still be like, it won't be me. But if it actually became a real thing, then you got to get your shit together. The same way when people get oh, you have diabetes, you need to change your diet. Oh, well, this is all I know how to eat. Well, motherfucker, then you're going to die.
Right. So that's it. But you're taking illness for the weak people, right? Let's take something like driving. Everybody knows driving is dangerous, but you have to drive to get places. Some people, they drive for so long that it becomes a symbol of their freedom and independence. Maybe you can't drive anymore. Try to get the car keys out of an old person who's just kind of passive.
Yeah,
and
they need
like
to get off the road too.
Yeah, they need to get off the road, but try to get the keys off of them. Like these kind of things are hard to, like, it's not just about like the danger, because really walking your dog.
Okay, but I'm saying, so at the end of the day, when that old person does get the keys and goes out there, we all try to take them from him and he ends up killing themselves.
Yes, that's the thing about life, right? This is the thing that you have to manage. But nobody's telling you, like, because driving is dangerous, like you couldn't make a decision. Why don't you just walk? Because you could get hit by a car walking.
Yeah, you can. Chances of dying in a car are way higher though. But yeah. I'm just saying, this is a life or death. Like it's kind of not even a sport, really, you know. But it became one. But I'm saying it's a life or death situation. This is unique than any other sports. You know, the combat sports is something where your next blow could be your last one. So it's kind of like, you know, kind of go into it with a bank robbery state of mind. Get in, get the dough, and get out if you can. Now, I understand what you're saying. If you're a young kid, 6, 7 years old, you ain't got no mom, pops, whatever, the gym, like you said, gym's your refuge. It probably will be hard to give it up. But at a certain time, you know, at what point in time you're going to take self-accountability and be like, you know what? I got millions of fucking dollars and I came from the hood where I had $10. You feel me? Like, at some point in time, you got to be like, this is cool. Like, do what you do.
Take a guy like Floyd, right? Is Floyd winning at this point? He's making millions of dollars, you know, doing exhibitions, but he also could be making hundreds of millions of dollars, like finding the new talent and promoting those guys. Like what the energy that he's putting into still being a fighter is taking away from the energy he needs to do the other things outside of fighting, right? You only have so many hours in a day. You only have the energy that you have, right? So, but
yeah, but
he's been fighting his whole life. So
yeah, but Floyd's he invested his money elsewhere. We're like, this ain't even fighting what he's doing now.
My point is, he just has other business endeavors that aren't like being a professional or he's blurring the line of what being a professional fighter is all about, right? He's still getting paid to be a fighter, but they're not sanctioned bouts. They're not adding to his record. He's already in the Hall of Fame. He's already in ATG. So since you have these other obligations to these fighters that are signed to you, why are you still trying to fight? Answer. Because he loves to fucking fight.
But he gets more money away from all that. He gets more money away from boxing now than he does even doing the exhibition and the promotion.
The point he's making is he still can't leave the game alone. That's what he's saying to you. He's been doing it his whole life.
He did leave the game alone. He's not putting himself at risk.
He just fought this weekend.
He's not putting himself at risk.
He was getting touched up. Of course he is. He's an older man. He doesn't fight as of course he is. I mean, he's limiting the risk. It's not the same risk, but it's still a dude. That guy was muscular as fuck. Yeah, that guy looked shook. and he ain't gonna do shit in the sport of boxing, and it was relatively like it was a mitigated risk, but that guy still clipped him a couple times. That's not good for your health.
He's still old
I
as
don't know.
hell
That's
boxing.
just sparring, bro. That's playing around with the gloves in the backyard shit to Floyd, bro. Like,
Listen. But at the end of the day, you still old as hell, and you boxing when you don't have to. That's the point he's making. It's like, bro, this is all he knows. So instead of like he's still boxing for money. At the end of the day, no matter what the risk is,
but
he's still
that's why I said I think Floyd is a bad
money.
example, bro. I don't think Floyd is out there because he can't leave the game alone. I think Floyd knows where his nest egg is at. He's like, I'm the greatest of all time, so he can get these little exhibition things for some change. Why wouldn't you? He's not trying. He's not begging. Somebody fight me. I need a fight. He's not looking for the shit. Like, he's not out here like, oh my God, I'll take anything. Fuck it. Let me get on fucking Blueface undercard. He's not doing shit like that. He knows, like, hey, someone called me and wants to give me $1 million to show up and spark 3 rounds of dude.
Right, I got you.
He's not.
Right, so he's still enticed by that kind of
thing. Roy could be doing the same shit, but Roy was trying to fight professionals.
Yeah, Roy couldn't leave alone.
He could do the same shit Floyd did and say, you know what, I'm Roy Jones. I just get a couple million to fight little, YouTubers and shit here and there and make some money. But he's like, nah, I still want to be the greatest. I still want to be the greatest.
Okay.
That's the difference in mentality.
Well, Andre Ward is the only one.
I give it to you.
So here's the thing. It's Max. I'll tell you a story about Sugar Ray Leonard trying to give Marvin Hagler into the ring again for the rematch. He's like, man, we can make so much money. Come on out of retirement. Let's do this rematch. Hagler told him to get a life.
I mean, Andre Ward and Hagler are such different animals because it's like, I feel like Ward, Hagler, and a few of these other guys, Rocky Marciano's probably in that category where it's like when they set their mind on something, they had moved on. And it's like there's a lot of these guys, like Bernard Hopkins is my favorite fighter. Biop was a guy where it's like it felt like it was getting to the Steve Young era of Bernard Hopkins' career because I remember growing up as a kid, don't judge my age, as Steve Young being my favorite quarterback. And it's like, Steve, take the knee. Dive, don't, because Steve just wanted to fight for every yards and he was getting concussions. And it was like we were learning about concussions via Steve Young getting beat up. And Steve Young, even though he wasn't Joe Montana, he was beloved because of the way he treated the fans, because of the way he conducted himself. Bernard and a lot of these fighters, I feel Roy Jones is like that. We start to get concerned as fans because they can't leave the game alone. And I guess what I'm interpreting is Floyd meant a lot to me in my young adulthood, watching his rise. And I get concerned not because he can't handle it, but because like I don't want to go through that with Floyd. Watching mortality, watching him get hit by a random person in Japan. And that's where boxing gets scary.
Yeah. I mean, like, Get Smoke is right as far as like Floyd's still taking a risk. It's not like he's fighting me and you. Yeah, I mean, even though the fight before the last one was pretty trash, but like he's not. I don't see the hunger for him. I see the hunger for him to want the attention, for sure, to have his name in the mix. But I don't see the hunger for him really thinking he can be the top dude in the actual sport with all the dudes that are out here competing. I think he knows I'm over here in the senior league now. Like, you're not here.
What you're saying. I understand. So you're saying he's different than Bernard or Roy, who really thought they were going to be the best guy at 40 years old.
Yeah, my issue isn't even any of that. My just is, it's like the standard that you're trying to hold people to is that's very few people who can meet the standard.
But that's a disciplined individual.
Let me just like first off, to make enough money to say you can leave a game alone, bro,
give me one fight, I'll make enough money to leave the game alone.
Say again?
Give me $100K. I'll go fight one. I'll get knocked out on that shit.
And then as soon as you buy a car and somebody says, I got another $100K for you, you're like, you don't have that $100K anymore as soon as you spend it, right?
Smoke is 100% right, because this is the thing. Let's say you make $100K or $500K. Once you made that, now you know there's 2 more of those possibly. And now you put half of your life or maybe 2/3 of your life into this. Why not get the benefit? You've already put the damage on your body. Now it starts to be, how much can I accumulate? How much can I go? How much further can I go? And that's the rabbit hole where fighters get stuck. And that's why, like I wrote about it in my book I just put out, It's important to have people that care about you, bro. It's important to have a good manager who's actually your first line of defense away from the promoter. A manager's job is to be your defense system. Every fighter should say yes to every fight. It's the manager to tell you, hey, wait, what's the financials? What's this? What's that? A fighter should never be put in a position to even have to think about whether they want to fight or not fight. That's on the manager, and then you propose from a financial standpoint. Hey, do you want to entertain this? If a fight's not being made, the accountability has to go on the manager because it's the manager's role to defend the fighter at all times from any form of scrutiny.
Yeah, you gotta save them from themselves, essentially. Yeah, because I mean, a lot of these fighters, some of these fighters, not most of them probably are real fighters. Like they'll fight inside the ring, outside the ring. They just fight. You know, they're fighters. So I understand like the mentality, but at the end of the day, as a human being, and even more so for a higher standard, as a man on this earth, at the end of the day, you are 1,000% responsible and accountable for your own self, your own decisions, your own life. Even if you hired a manager, even if you hired an accountant, and you said, hey, they were supposed to have my shit in order. It's still up to you. At the end of the day, you hired those people, and whether they help or fail, it's still on you. Everything's on you.
I got it. That like people like that is great if you are in a position to dictate other people's lives, right? And then have them and have that the way you dictate it be detrimental to them. If you want that person to still eat shit and like it, have that kind of mentality. Like it's all on you to get around this system that is actually designed to fuck you up, right? At a certain point, yeah, you can't be that is at a certain point you have to interact with, you have to engage with the system to get what you want, right? You're not going to let the however the negativity involved with the engaging system stop you from getting what you want. But at a certain point in this game, like what you're saying, you have to recognize that your engagement with the system is detrimental to your health, right? And the question becomes, when do you disengage, and how can you disengage? Because just straight up, if you've been engaging with the system and that's what got you 100,000, when you disengage from the system, how are you going to make money? How are you then going to live life? Since you've been, the only thing you know is how to make money in the system.
It's smoke.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Here's my only response to that, which is kind of bleeds into the music industry too, right? At what point are these fighters going to know going into it? If you're a 16, 15, 14, 12-year-old fighter right now in 2022, how do you not know this information? How do you not know that promoters are going to screw you on your money? How do you not know to watch out for your manager and accountants? How do you not know that this shit's going to bring you brain damage? We have a plethora of information now in this era for everything. So for people that still fall into the same traps that the fighters were falling into in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s and 60s before we had more information, before we even knew about CTE, before we knew about anything, how? That just means that you're just purposely being ignorant. If this is going to be your profession as a boxer, and I know a gym and all that shit, the other part of it is what happens after this. There are no boxers 50, 60, 70s, 80s years old doing this shit. Everyone knows there's going to come a time, whether it's too late, as some we've seen with some boxers, or whether we feel like some it's too early. Like Andre Ward said, oh, you could have got another 2 fights in. Cool. But at some point, you got to make a decision. So now, if you know that the end will come one day, then it's your fault for not preparing for it as someone in this sport. If you know that one day I'm probably going to have brain damage, then yeah, I would like that extra million, but I kind of feel like I forgot my keys were the whole past week. You got to make your own decision. But if you feel like the money is more worth it for those fighters that do feel like, you know what, I'm literally going to fight to the death. I don't care. I want to make sure my family's good. If it's another million, 100K, whatever I can get from fighting in the middle of the mall or wherever, I'm going to do it. Then kudos to them. But at the end of the day, I can't feel sorry for you because you're over here walking with a fucking walker and don't know your kids' names.
So, hey Max, and I'm gonna like we all know, right? The information out there that our food supply is fucking poison, right? Like you can't even get real food at supermarkets. Most people still eat at McDonald's, right? But does that mean that all human beings are now out there growing their own? No, the system isn't set up for people to do that. Having the information doesn't mean you now have the wherewithal or the tools or the resources to actually use that and apply that information to improve your quality of life. Right? All you do is eat McDonald's and say how McDonald's suck. That's what happens. That's what's convenient. That's what you're able to do. Those are the options in your life. You could say, hey, everybody, let's move out of cities and move back onto the farm. So because the food supply is fucking so tainted, we need to, go back to the post industrialism, right? Pre-industrialism and live on farms and shit. No one's doing that.
But I mean, I understand, but it's a risk reward, right? I mean, you can know that fast food is trash food. Like me personally, I stopped eating fast food like about 2-3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Same for that reason. But yeah, every now and then I get the urge. Every now and then I'm like, I ain't had some McDonald's fries in a minute with a McFlurry. I try it. It's disgusting to me, but I still do it. But I do it in moderation. It's no longer my life.
But that's even the McFlurry, right? I'm just saying, like, even if you go to the supermarket, like most of the stuff at like Safeway, I'm in the Bay. You go to Safeway. Yeah. You mess with Trader Joe's, the food's old, it's prepackaged, you don't know what the hell, it's all processed. Even the produce is processed. It's chopped up and put in a plastic bag. You don't know how old the stuff is, you don't know what bacteria is in it. And that's our entire food supply. Nobody is like turning their apartment into like a hydroponic farm. Like in your bathroom, you could be growing tomatoes. You ain't doing that shit.
Well, to go further,
there's information out there to do it, right?
How about this? Nobody really does research on what bank they want to put their money into. Some banks give you 2% interest back if you have enough money. Some give you 0.01. People just typically go by what's closest to my house as opposed to what gives me the greatest revenue.
Yeah, facts. Facts. I mean, but as we gain the information, we should be making better decisions. And if you would like to, you don't have to, but if you would like to, probably pass it to other people that you care about.
And that's a perfect segue, Mex. I wrote the handbook, Inside the Ropes of Boxing. It's my book. It's on Amazon. I'll hold it up right here. Boom, boom. And all it is my experience, kind of a guidebook, like if you bought a TV for a young fighter about everything we've been talking about. So this is the prerequisites, kind of like college or high school. You got to go through a prerequisite of find a gym that's professional, do well in the amateurs to be able to go pro. If you're going pro, be sure to have a manager that cares about you. Make sure you have good communication with your manager. Find a promoter. Understand the role of the promoter. In my opinion, a promoter's job is not to promote you. It's to get you to a world title. Once you're at a world title, the big fights should happen because you're a world champion. Understand the system which you're in, because I think the biggest problem with boxing is it's not necessarily that it's exploitive. It's twofold. There's not enough money, so you see the worst sides of people clinging to the money. And two, it's the only sport I can think of where you have to learn how to navigate the system as much as be a high-level athlete. So you can be a high-level athlete, but if you don't understand the roadmap and you don't know how to navigate it, it can greatly limit your potential, unlike being an NBA or NFL star, because your talent can take you there. In boxing, you have to be a truly transcendent talent for your talent to take you to the next level. Being above average, you can still fail if you don't understand the system you exist within.
Dang. Yo, make sure you drop a link in the chat to wherever we can buy the book at.
Yep, I'm gonna do it right now, and okay. I'm blessed to be on with you, and I'm blessed to share Kyle's birthday with him. I'm glad.
Happy birthday!
Hey, birthday beat down, Kyle. 34 and things,
birthday to you. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, light skin. Happy birthday, light skin.
Appreciate it, OG. Hey, appreciate y'all, man.
Hey, I'm gonna pull up to the O, give you the birthday pack out real quick, and then y'all I'm just slide back.
You're gonna give him the birthday DP?
You know what it is?
So talk to me.
Hey.
Who's mad about Keyshawn Davis talking this shit?
No, it's to me, it's just chewed bubblegum. It's not even mad. Like, bro, like Top Rank's got nobody for you. Stop playing. No, it's not. At this point, it's fucking. It's very obvious what's happening. Like Shakur is calling out guys not on Top Rank. Keyshawn is calling out guys not on Top Rank. They're gonna be fighting guys on Top Rank. It's boring now.
Get the smoke. I want to tell you something though. You know whose fault this is, right?
No.
DJ from the boxing section. This is all DJ's fault.
Okay.
Listen. No, I'm dead ass serious, bro.
I'm listening.
This whole thing is DJ's fault. and me and DJ are responsible for instigating this whole situation.
I was there.
So it's really DJ's fault, honestly. DJ started it. Me, Lalo, we instigated it.
So you got to stop stirring the shit.
We started the shit and stirred the shit. So now it's just shit everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the Frank Martin shit happened. That's where the Ryu shit happened. All that shit happened because DJ
I got a
was
question
like,
for Smoke,
So
though.
you got Rio decapitated then.
I got a question for Smoke, though.
Yeah, what happened?
So
What
what
happened,
the fuck
Mr.
is he supposed to do?
What is who supposed to do?
What the fuck is Keyshawn supposed to do? Call out
No, he's supposed to get better. He didn't call out anybody, actually. He's just
call
talking
out the
shit.
guy on Top Rank? Call out
Yeah,
some
yeah,
guy from the
He
bar
didn't
in
call out
Mexico?
anybody. Did he call out anybody? I think he's just talking trash.
No,
But
he called nobody out.
the point being, he's talking trash about guys who aren't on Top Rank that he's not even going to fight. Like, he's not going to leave Top Rank, and they're not going to leave their spot. So, like, why are you even bumping your gums about it?
Well, I think they should leave their spot, or he should leave his spot.
But they're
I
not
think
going
they should
to.
cross him up.
But I know you. But you think that should happen. But you know that
Yeah.
it's not going to. So what?
Yeah.
So what are we talking about?
No.
We're talking about those dudes trying to play like scapegoat and play misdirection and stop trying to deceive me because it's old now. This whole like Bob Arum, like let me point the finger at the other guys and try to blame them while I like move the way I'm gonna move anyway, regardless of what they say. Like man, miss me with this shit. You're not about to jump ship. You're gonna stay right fucking there at Top Rank, fight those guys, and leave me alone.
I don't know, bro. I think Shakur and Keyshawn have a personality that they're gonna push Bob to make the fights, and if he doesn't, they probably will leave at the end of their contract. I think they just have that personality.
I think they're going to leave at the end of their contract anyway, and Bob understands that. His business model, as you point out, is about developing talent, not keeping premier talent.
But I think also young alpha male kids who have always been the best are going to just call out some people, and it's not going to make sense, you know? Here's a little alpha male that wants to fight people, and he's just going to say some stuff. He's got a cell phone.
Fucking Rolly called out Spence. Come on.
Yeah, but right. But Rolly is not calling out guys on Top Rank.
But I think
like at least he's calling out guys who are within his thing. Like I get why they're doing it. They're doing it because Top Rank doesn't have people.
I mean, Keyshawn's got some opponents.
If the stars were at Top Rank, they would be calling out those guys, alpha male style, right?
No, I mean, like there's guys like Navarrete is going to be at that division pretty soon. Like,
yeah, but you can't call out that's not really alpha male to call out a guy too.
No, but I'm saying he's going to be up there. There's going to be Valdez. There's going to be guys. Pedraza could possibly get down there. Arnold Barbosa could easily get to 35. These guys can be at this weight class. Like, there's always going to be guys because if the paycheck is big enough, like a Michelle Riviera could potentially, I believe, fight on a Top Rank show because if they offer him enough money and he's not getting opportunities and not getting fight dates, that's a makeable fight down the road because the guy's just not getting opportunities currently. No fault of his own, no fault of the promoter. There's just not enough dates. And for some reason, he's not catching on. So there's always going to be opportunities. It's just Keyshawn's in that weird spot between getting a main event spot that demands a lot of attention and being a contender turning into like a world challenger.
Well, at this point, he's still prospect. He's still fighting 8-rounders. Like, this is several steps we're doing.
I mean,
I think there's a difference.
Above a prospect. Him and Jared are in the same spot.
Yeah.
The only reason why he's a prospect is because he had a stomach issue. He would have this fight would have been a 10-rounder. So his next fight is going to be a 10-rounder, bro.
I mean, we'll see. I like from that guy. Like, I thought the guy he fought was this past weekend was a can, and I thought not only was he fighting a can on Friday, but it was like slightly boring. He was like cautious because the can was trying to ambush us and catch him with something crazy, right? So he had to be cautious early when the guy's strong and all that stuff. I get the way that he went about his business, but it's an 8-rounder. Like, so when I
got a fight.
Go ahead.
I got a fight. How about him versus Hector Tananahara or him versus Miguel Contreras, the caveman? So they both fought in an 8-rounder in Fresno. They're good, solid fighters. Tananahara has only lost one time, former Golden Boy fighter. that's a suitable 10-round main event, and that's a suitable fight for where he's at in his career.
Yeah, see, and that's my point, is that like calling those guys out is not gonna get you like, you know, a segment on the boxing session, right? To talk about if he's calling out the guy, you know, the guys you just mentioned, and admittedly I don't know anything about, right? I mean, maybe I've seen them fight, but maybe I haven't.
And those are good fights, you know, but it's like
the names don't like.
Luke, you know all the fighters, man. You know all the motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean,
like
maybe I
Mahir
have,
Albright from Philly's another guy that Keyshawn could fight. You know, there's I'm just looking through.
I'm just saying the call out though. The call out isn't sexy, right? So
Well, but-
if they had like sexy call outs at Top Rank, he would be doing that thing, right? He would be like, if Loma was a champion, then he'd be like, hey, yeah, let me get that Loma smoke.
Yeah, and Loma's another one of these guys where I think people underestimate how good Loma is because the media kind of has overhyped Loma, but he is a formidable guy. Like, you don't want to underestimate Loma because people always act like, no, it's like Loma's good, but I get what you're saying because we live in an era where it's like, who's the biggest name that I can call out and what's going to stir the pot and get as many media writers to write about it, YouTube channels. What's the thing that's going to keep my name in the mix? And it's like, well, Frank Martin, he's with Errol Spence. I'm with Terrence Crawford. Let's call him out. Let's play off of this. And I find it a little bit annoying because as a purist, I get the move, but it's a very like obvious move. I want to see the makeable fights.
Exactamundo. It's just a rerun for me. Like I'm like just in the last few years, it's been really since Spence went to that Porter thing and he said, like, I'm going to go this route. They've been just like pointing at the PBC and like, you know, fight at the PBC while they fight on Top Rank and then talk about sides of the streets are only the PBC kind of issue. Meanwhile, they're not trying to leave it.
No, that's bullshit, Smoke, because the only motherfucker who brought up sides of the street was Spence.
I understand why they're saying it. I'm just saying they're now running with this thing. It's not when Errol Spence said it, like it's not as though he wasn't speaking the truth. But people are now talking about how it was him that created Side of the Street and him that
Tim Bradley.
It wasn't. It's none of them. It's literally, man. It has always been there. Like when the mob was controlling boxing. If you weren't with the mob, then you weren't getting the fight.
I wasn't alive back then, bro. But the first time,
don't lie, Shelton. Don't lie.
The first time I heard Sides of the Street, but the first time I heard Side of the Street was Tim Bradley. That's the first time I heard that.
Right, but that's the phrase, but not the concept.
Yeah. Oh no, not the concept. No, it's been like that.
They're just pointing out the fact that if you ain't with us, it's an us and them kind of thing. And if you ain't down with the team,
right.
Why you popping off, right? And that's all I'm saying. This is kind of like the way that they've been moving in the last like 2 years is just like redundant. It's repetitive, and I'm over.
I like the changing of the guard. I like these young 20-year-olds. They pushing a hard line. I think they're really good.
It's the scapegoating and acting like I don't notice. Like I don't notice the fact that you aren't fighting, like you aren't leaving fucking Top Rank.
I think these young boys are gonna revolutionize the sport. I think they're gonna revolutionize the sport.
I mean, shout out to Fury and Wilder for breaking that barrier too, because those two fighters made a fight between PBC and Top Rank. They forced the promoters to work together. I think that the fighters have to take the onus because people don't give Wilder and Fury credit. They forced that fight to happen. They were unwilling to settle for anything other than that. I wish more fighters would be like, I'm big enough, make this happen.
Well, you realize that, but the thing was that evolving Top Rank made the fight harder to make. Like it took forever for the rematch to happen, and then you had to sue them for the third fight.
But I mean,
but they did it.
You know, how come we don't have Top Rank involved? We don't have Top Rank involved, and this fight is harder to make than the Wilder Fury fight. Why is that?
Oh.
So which one? Right? Why is Bud and Spence harder to make? I mean, without being privy to what the hell is going on, sounds like I mean, truly, I don't know, right? But from the reports that we get, all we got is reports, and some of the reports have to do with
Spence want to wait another year for Crawford to end up being 45.
That PBC should be have the same business model as Top Rank, and pay him a ton of money up front. That's part of why it's being made. That's the reports. But there's also reports saying that he accepted a lower thing. But I don't know. We're getting all kinds of. It may be that he wants a 3-option deal, that they want a long-term deal with Terrence Crawford and he doesn't want to sign it, or maybe that's not the case. I've heard just so much reports. I don't really know what the hell's going on.
The news has been weaponized around this story, right?
Yes.
So if you like Errol Spence, there's going to be news to paint him as a good guy. If you like Terrence Crawford, there's going to be news to paint him. We just want, as fight fans, we want this fight. We don't care about how you guys do a deal. Have we ever said, you know what we wish? We wish a business deal was filmed for YouTube and we could watch it. No, we want to see a fist fight. We don't care about what the guys in jackets and suits do. So until they do that, who cares? We just need to see the fight.
Big Dog Luke, that's your name?
Yeah, I'm the biggest dog of them all.
Big Dog Luke, you are the first person who broke that down the same way I think it's going down. We don't care how much you get. We don't care about the networks. We don't care about any of that. Because like I say all the time, bro, I wake up every morning like any normal person. I check my bank account. Terrence Crawford ain't sent me a dime yet. All the years I've been supporting him, the motherfucker ain't sent me shit. So I don't care what he makes. I don't care what Spence makes. Just make the goddamn fight. Stop talking about it and be about it.
Well, listen, there's one thing. I don't even know how this came up because y'all know good and goddamn well I banned all talks of Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford until somebody has a goddamn press conference. I told y'all, dude, they not finna do this mixed direction. It's my fault, your fault shit. Fuck that. All right?
Exactly.
I told y'all finna giddy on up, man. Until a motherfucker come up with a press conference and tell me this fight is happening, listen. For the first time in my life, listen, L-Dub been telling me information years. I've always took it and ran with it. This is the first time in the history that I don't believe it's gonna happen this year. You know what I'm saying? And I've been telling
you're just fucking tired, Kyle. That's all it is. You're tired. You're tired of the bullshit. That's all it is.
Jaded. Jaded and cynical. And boxing don't make you this way because of the way that these guys, like, I just think there's a really dearth of talent in promotion. This is why you got Keyshawn Davis on Twitter fingers calling out guys that the sophisticated boxing fan knows he's not about to fight anytime fucking soon.
Yo, I've never seen two fighters that actually want to fight each other and not fight each other. That's all I'm gonna say.
What is that?
I ain't seen it.
I grew up on I went to my friend's house and we watched the Shakur fight, and it was a good fight. But then we're like, hey, let's put on one of those fights that made us love boxing. We put on Chico Corrales versus Castillo. Then we put on Tito Trinidad versus Fernando Vargas. And I was sitting there going, why don't we get these type of fights that give me that feeling? And it's hurting. It's hurting because we have the same level of talent, but we don't have that same level of excitement where you're like, I really want to see this guy challenge. I look at a guy like Boots Ennis, and he screams of an old school guy. He's calling for these names, and we're just not getting these moments, and it just hurts.
Because these guys today, bro, this is the problem with these guys today. These guys today are not in this thing for legacy. I keep saying this. Most of these guys, there may be a couple, but most of these guys ain't in this shit for legacy. They in this shit to get paid. That's why they fight.
Wrong?
Yeah, I mean,
are they wrong? But they're not wrong because it's called prize fighting for a reason. They're not wrong. But if you want to be the best, if you want to be the best and run around here and say you the best, and I'm this and I'm that, then you got to fight the best competition available. You can't take the lowest risk for the biggest reward. You can't do that and say you the best.
About the bag, though. Hold on, let's stop this shit, man. Let's stop this old timer. They just fought for blood, for guts and glory.
Yeah, that's some dumb shit. It sounds some dumb shit to me.
That's complete bullshit, dude.
Yeah,
them niggas was fighting. They was fighting for money. Them cats was fighting for money. They wasn't fighting just to be the best. They was fighting for that bag.
Let me get OGs back though. I wish that we would incentivize through money the best fights to be possible. So the legacy and the money translated. So chasing legacy got you the most money. So then we got the legacy fights and you get that bag in the process.
That's
See, I don't give a fuck what Kyle Ass said, because Kyle Ass was a cum stain on somebody's mattress. He don't even know what the fuck he's talking about. Back in the day, bro. Listen to me. Listen to me.
Back in Jack Johnson days, it was about money, bro. It's always been about money.
Back in the day, bro, you didn't get the big money unless you fought the big fights. That's the way it went. If you didn't fight the best guy available, you didn't get them big bags.
It's still that way.
It wasn't so much that.
Big ass bag. You can get a big ass bag for fighting fucking Steve Rolls. So don't tell me what the fuck is going on when you motherfuckers wasn't here.
So here's the thing. Right. So here's the thing. It depends on which day you're talking about when you say back in the day, right? So there's a time when there's a time when guys fought for money and they just fought frequently. That's why they had to be so active, because even the big fights didn't pay that much. Right. So you had to keep fighting. But now big fights pay more. So it's a different thing. Right. But there was a time when there was no sanctioning bodies. There's a time when there was no belts and no, TV or no radio. Guys just knuckled up for cash. That's the same thing that's happening. The same motive.
The biggest fights have always made the most money in every era. It doesn't change.
But even then, your big fight, like Joe Gans's big fight against Sam Langford, didn't make him any more money than his fight against, battling Jim Nelson.
Yeah, exactly. What I'm saying is that's a fallacy. What Mex is just saying, because I consider Jermell Charlo going for undisputed a big ass fight.
And a big accomplishment too that's being underrated on a historical level that people are acting like isn't a big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
And the fact remains that he did not, I repeat, he did not get a big ass bag for that fight.
No, he didn't. And all right, so
he got less than he got for the first time, or his other fight?
About the same. He got about the same, about 1.5.
Let's take Mayweather. Let's take Mayweather. And also, this is also the issue, right?
Wait. So he got the same. You're saying he got the same as his first undisputed fight, or you say that he got the same amount as he did for like his first belt?
He got the same amount. He got 1.5 for fighting fucking the other motherfucker. What's his name? Lubin or whoever the fuck that was. He got about the same money. He didn't get no money.
I'm grateful.
What he got for Tony Harrison? He got for fucking. What he got for Tony Harrison, he got for fucking Castagna. Same shit.
You know why I like Jermell Charlo too? Is he kept that fight on television. It wasn't on pay-per-view.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Smart. Didn't get that big bag.
I think the pay-per-view flopped though, and that's why they're not on pay-per-view.
But I mean, still as a fight fan, I appreciate the fighters that aren't going on pay-per-view. I can watch an undisputed fight, a Jermell Charlo, with my regular Showtime subscription, as opposed to $85 on top of a Showtime subscription. Even if it flopped, I appreciate that, because he could still be like, I need to be on pay-per-view. There is a little bit of I'm gonna say thank you to a fighter that doesn't fight on pay-per-view, gives me a world level fight on network television, and potentially takes less money than he could ask for to make a great fight.
Like Devin Haney?
Yes. Yeah, so the fighters in this era also are leveraging their own marketability, right? A lot better than
I gotta do something. I'll be back, fellas.
Yeah, that was all right, Mr. Moore. But yeah, like you take a guy like Floyd, right? The Pacquiao fight is the most bought pay-per-view fight, like in the history of the sport. But he wound up making like 3 times the amount of money fighting Conor McGregor. Right. And I think that kind of like that market reality that's always been in the sport is just kind of like, it's not really about facing an ATG if you are trying to make the most money. It's just really about the spectacle of the event. Right. And then your ability to capture as much of that revenue as possible. That seems to be like the thing about today's boxers.
Future concert.
No, Floyd is my GOAT. I always say all the time, over every boxer I've ever seen personally. But he did help kill the sport. Like that whole staying undefeated and the money thing is exactly what these young boys that grew up on Floyd are growing up on. Like, look, I could probably take a better fight later, but if I can get 3 more wins without taking an L and a couple more mil before I do that, why wouldn't I? Oh, let it grow. Like, I get it. I think it is a mentality thing too, of wanting to be the best, fight the best. You know what I'm saying, and always just be the big dog in the room at all times. So like, I think that that's more of a personality trait than anything. Like, because I think that there are fighters nowadays that definitely want to do as I think Bud's one of those fighters. I think Benavidez is probably one of those. Like, there's certain fighters still left. It's like, bro,
Raiz Aleem, Arnold Barbosa. I honestly think Errol Spence is that way. I think Jermell Charlo is that way.
Yeah, they just want to fight the best. Fuck, if you say this guy out here is better than me, let's find out. Like that shit. Instead of now for the younger dudes, it's just like they want to wiggle around because they know, look, if you're young, if you're 24 years old, like let's say it's like Haney and these dudes, and they fight each other at 24, one of them has to lose. They have to, or draw. But one of them has to lose. Now you got that one. You cannot go and get that 50-0 and be the next Mayweather again. Like, somebody is going to be knocked off that shit early. So if they can wait until they're 27, 28, 29, 30 years old before they start really taking risk of losing that O, then they can accumulate like 30, 40, before they go into these big fights versus like, damn, I got that L early in life. Yeah, I got another 10 undefeated fights of that, but we all remember when you're 23 and you lost this fight. It's like they're thinking about that shit. So maybe they are thinking about legacy, but in a different way. They cannot lose. Versus, I think I'm going to win every time because someone's got to lose. Eventually, when two powerhouses come together, someone's going to lose. You know what I mean? Now, I don't think everyone has the ability because of the era we're in to take a loss early and bounce back to be considered the GOAT. You can still be a Hall of Famer, an all-time great, but to surpass Floyd which should be your goal as a fighter nowadays. You want to surpass Floyd. He's obviously the king of the money, if this is what you're doing it for. And when you talk about record and all the other shit, he's got the undefeated record too. So really, on both sides, he's kind of the pinnacle where you're chasing. So if someone could go 51-0 and make more money than Floyd, then they might be able to say that they're the next, greatest. But you can't do that if you take an L early.
I think the big thing too is we devalue fighters who lose, and there's been a ton of great fight. Like I always bring up Chico Corrales, who's one of my favorite fighters. That fight I was watching against Castillo, didn't he have 4 or 5 losses going into that fight? And no one was saying, "Oh man, this guy needs to hang him up," And we're in an era where, like, if a fighter has 2 losses, people are acting like, I think he's taken too much. And we're in an era where, like, kids have grown up playing video games rather than going outside and throwing rocks at each other and slap boxing. So, like, the world is changing.
Rock fights, man. No one remembers rock fights. I said that the other day, and whatever. Now you're really showing your age. Go ahead. Sorry, big dog.
No, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to say it's a violent era, but there was like the fighters that came out of the previous eras, you can see a little bit about where the world was. And this generation, it's like, how many fighters value their social media presence as much as being feared by the other fighters? And I guess me being older, I want every fighter to be paid fairly, but I also want guys to want to be Mike Tyson. Guys want to be Roy Jones. Guys want to be, when he steps in the room, I'm a little nervous of saying his name because that was part of what drew me to boxing. And I see a little bit of everybody being friends, cheering for each other. Okay, I'm going to get around to that fight when it makes sense for me. I don't hear people saying I'm the biggest bully on the schoolyard.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right about that. You're exactly on point with that shit. And I think another thing, and this right here is not no proven fact, so don't start asking with the start shit. But I'm gonna say, don't forget this shit was an era of fatherless children. What's up?
Mex, make sure you get that book.
Oh, you already know. I asked for the link. You already know. But I'm saying, a lot of these kids are children of fatherless eras. Some of these fighters, they had no daddy to teach them how to be men, so they learn from their mama, which could help, but could also, you might be missing an aspect. A lot of them old school fighters, they had dads, even if they weren't the best dads. There's still a man pushing them to be the biggest man. Like a woman could try, but I see. I mean, I see with LeBron, I see with KD, I see like there's a certain part of that missing when you ain't got testosterone in your life.
Yeah, I mean, I never had a dad in my life, so I don't know, but I mean, that's a valid point. You know, I respect it.
Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. I think eras have to do with it. I don't think it's really just a father. Like people with fathers in their homes can be just as, whatever. I guess they can behave in ways that are just as extreme, problematic, and suboptimal as people who had dads. My experience.
For sure. Like if you have an alcoholic dad who's not really checked in, or like I'm sure that's not better than having just a single parent mom who unconditionally loves you. Like, I mean, not to go to extremes, but like I get what you're saying that there's something missing, but I also think that like some people have situations with two parents that are utterly miserable.
No, I agree. I'm just going with like if you're playing the betting odds, and nothing is absolute, nothing is every situation, it's case by case. But overall, you see certain characteristics and certain outcomes of certain situations.
See, here's the thing. Like I think that any system, right, is going to be flawed and needs to be like tampered with and make sure that it has the best outcomes for the most people, right? But I think that the way that our system is now has completely fractured the community, and it's made it like you're relying on a smaller and smaller group of people to actually get your needs met, and it's untenable. You can't be this rugged individualist in our society, like in the way that society is actually like comprised, right? The way like your nuclear family, that's cool, but there's all of these pressures on even your nuclear family. You need to actually you need to engage with the system if you're going to have the best outcomes. It seems to be, it has to be done on a community level. Like it's not just you as an individual, not just your family as a unit, but it's a bunch of families trying to fix an issue. Not like, hey, just bootstrap the thing. I don't think you can actually affect the change that needs to be affected as an individual. You can do some things, but
there's a systemic issue where it does take, it's through my experience, it feels like the individual has to be a cog in the system, but there also has to be a village that rallies around an individual. It's very hard for an individual in a bad situation to do things all on their own. And I think that that's a narrative often successful people who come from hard circumstances often play that they did, to make their narrative seem much greater and to kind of romanticize their journey to make them more likable. That we hear, well, I was poor and then I simply did this and now I'm a multimillionaire. Look at this. It's very easy. Just be like me. Look at how great I am. But I'm doing this very humbly.
Yep. 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 Oh, yeah. Perfect.
I mean, at the end of the day, it is kind of easy. It's just mentality-wise, it's kind of hard to get over the hump. I know myself personally, I could be accomplishing a lot more things in life than being on YouTube talking with you guys. I know it. I just choose not to do it.
Right. So then it's not easy. So then why say it's easy? So then why say it's easy?
It is easy. All I gotta do is get up and do it.
If it's easy, then you would be doing it.
No, I just choose not to, though.
Because it's not easy. That's the whole thing. If it was easy, then it wouldn't be an issue for you doing it.
Because you just be doing it because it's easy. Want to do it,
right? Because you don't.
There's a lot of things in life that are easy that I don't feel like doing.
Correct. The whole thing about doing something,
it takes time. Like I don't know.
To want to do it, right? That takes.
So it's a mentality thing.
That takes effort, though. But that takes effort. That is a bunch of the hard part. Changing a mind. That's what I was trying to. That's what we were talking about earlier. Changing the mind is one of the hardest things to do. It's just not easy at all. To just have a mind.
It is though.
It's easy to say. It is very people spend their entire lives improving themselves and coming to epiphanies and understanding their motivations. Like people are not even very good at understanding the reasons why they do stuff.
It's still easy.
Okay, whatever, man.
It's easy. Like I mean, even changing the mindset is easy.
It's easy to say. It's very easy to say, but it's shown to be really not hard to, once you say it, to then implement that. Now you need discipline. You need all this other stuff.
Yeah,
it's not. I mean, having discipline is not easy.
And also another thing is accountability. Accountability is one of the hardest things in life. To say, like, I see this all the time with young fighters. Right? They lose a fight and they go, "Man, the judges ruined me." And I talk about this in this book. and I got to leave pretty soon, so I'm going to plug the book, right? But I talk about this in this book is what separates a good fighter from a great fighter is simple as this to me. A good fighter might say the judges have robbed me 5 or 6 times. A great fighter is going to say, how can I take the fight into a way? How can I, even though I feel I won, how can I raise my level to the next bar where anyone that watches this fight, any perception of boxing, no one can take the fight away from me. And I think in all walks of life, that's the hardest thing. Mortality is hard, but also being accountable to oneself is the hardest thing.
Yep. I think people in general are a combination of too easy and too hard on themselves, and he's got to find that balance.
Exactly. Being reasonable is the hardest thing. It's easy to come on here and to name call someone if they have a different opinion than me. To be like, okay, I'm going to name call you. I'm going to say big thing. And every now and then, if I'm down in the dumps, I fail. And sometimes I behave like that. I try not to behave like that, but we all fail at times. I don't punish myself anymore if I fail. I try to rectify the situation. I try to be a good role model because I'm old enough now, sadly, where young people might look at me and say, Uncle Lukey's a cool guy. So now I can't just fail and let myself down and my mom down and people that love me. I don't want to let down young kids that think that I'm a cool guy and that aspects of me is how they're modeling what a cool guy as an adult should look like. And I think that you said it perfect, Smoke. To be in that middle ground is the hardest thing to be. To not be too easy on yourself and not be too hard on yourself, to not differ in the extremes, to live in the middle, to say, okay, I deserve a break, but I also don't want to be too lethargic. And I failed, but I'm not going to punish myself. I'm not going to live in my own mind, in my own misery. I'm going to accept my failure, but I'm going to improve on it from this set forward.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with both of you guys. It is that is the middle ground. And at the end of the day, no one's perfect, no human's perfect, no system's perfect. There's nothing in life that is perfection. You feel me? So at the end of the day, it's just like, yeah, you gotta get in it. But what I'm saying, when I say easy, I don't mean easy as far as like you're not gonna stress or you're not gonna have to go through something. I'm saying it's easy to just get up and do something, to put effort toward it. Maybe not easy to accomplish it, but it's easy to start it. It's just like what you said, the mental block is the hard part, but it's still not that hard when you're just like, you know what, fuck it. Like,
and building good habits.
Just do it.
It's hard to. I mean,
it's like getting on a roller coaster. You might not want to just hop in and strap up, man, and then see what it is. And you realize, oh, that was 30 seconds. Was that hard?
It's a lazy mindset, though. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
That's what's the hard part.
And I'm guilty of it myself. That's why I call myself out first. I know there's plenty of things I could be doing in life to lead me towards success. I could be taking an online course. I could be investing. I could be learning a trade. I could be taking classes to be better. But I'm like, I prefer to do this.
Let's be honest. What's better than talking about boxing on YouTube?
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But that's what I said. But I choose to do this.
My shit. I've raised my babies. I've made my fucking money. I'm fucking retired, man. I'm sitting talking about my goddamn hobbies. I guess I could really put a whole bunch of serious effort into making money out of it and, making a channel and all this stuff. And recently I've thought about that thing, even though I've been on panels for 4 years now. It's just kind of like, my money's not my motivating thing. Like, not making money off of YouTube is not like a motivating thing for me. Does it mean that it's like a difficult thing to do if I put my mind to it? No. I'm not like building a rocket, right? I'm not performing brain surgery. It's just like dedication, being inspired, like the things that I can do. But there is a difficult of like, there's a level of difficulty to it. Maybe I call it easy, maybe I call it hard. I don't know. But I do know what's hard is changing your habits, changing your mind. Like, if you have a momentum going in a certain direction, having the wherewithal to stop going in that direction is fucking tough. And then to have a course correction is fucking tough. And then to know what to do, like the next direction to go in, is also tough. Like, none of those things are easy, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why I give a lot of props to people that are very disciplined mentally to do things in life, or to change your life, 2-3 times, like such as in Malcolm X's, situation. He changed numerous times and realized it got, so it's like it's evolution and shit. But I feel like the fear of it not being easy is what keeps people from doing it. But it's like it's easy to try. That's why I guess that there you go. It's easy to try. Maybe not easy to get the outcome you want. You're gonna have to put in work, long hours, this and that. But it's easy to try. I mean, you just gotta just do it. Like at the end of the day, you just gotta do it. You just gotta jump in. Like fighting isn't easy. You get in a street fight. If you ever been in a street fight, it's like you get all the nerves beforehand. But once you chunking them, you chunking them. Like what is there to think?
It depends on, right. It's a different experience if the fight was brought to you. Like if you just chilling and somebody's like, sneaks you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you're just in your moment.
But I'm talking about the one when you know it's coming. It's after school, 3 o'clock. The whole school gonna be there. You thinking about it all day long. You're like, yeah, should I even show up? I mean, like. But then once that first punch is thrown, there's all thought is out the window, and all trepidation and being scared is out there. You just got to do it. So I think it's like you say, it's the mental shit to get over that mental block of like I'm scared, or I don't want to fail, or it takes too much time, or I'm chilling, I have my day off, I already worked 12 hours yesterday, whatever it is. But then once you do it, you're like, okay, it wasn't that hard. It might have took a little more time, might have been kind of stressful, more of a burden, maybe mentally, financially, or whatever it is you choose to get into. But the effort to put toward it is the easy part if that's what you choose to do. It's easy to stop eating candy if you want to not eat candy. And the temptation's there where it's hard mentally because it's right there at the fucking store and it's your favorite. But it's easy to not do it.
Yeah, no. Sugar changes your actual body physiology.
No, sugar is a drug.
It is a physical addiction. It is really not easy to break a physical addiction.
I'm going through it.
Especially when that thing that you're addicted to is in everything, even though they don't tell you that's in everything. Like sugar-free is chock full of fucking sugar.
Yeah, it's just man-made sugar.
Yeah, but, like high fructose corn syrup or all this other shit. Like, like your body is still getting its fix. Like that is a really tough thing to go from a sugar addiction to being a vegan. That's not easy.
Oh, bro, believe me, I know. I've been eating sugar my whole life. I lost 2 of my back molars because of it, and I stopped doing it. I've been getting down to like trying to eat what do they call that, single ingredient items and shit, just meat and veggies if I can. Obviously, I still eat on the weekends. I eat whatever the fuck I want, but I have noticed that there's time. And I used to like when I work in restaurants, so I used to always have sugar in my apron, candy, little candies, Jolly Rancher, whatever, as I'm working. But it got to the point now that if I eat a bag of like sour anything, gummy savers or some shit, I feel like shit afterwards. Like I'm thinking it's gonna give me that sugar rush. I don't even get sugar rushes no more. I just get like drowsy now. It sucks, but you're right. It is a fucking addiction. That's why I noticed that this shit's a drug, bro. Because I went like almost 2 months without eating any sugar at all. As far as sweets. And then I relapsed and I had like a 4-day binge of just eating a whole bunch of 7-Eleven, bro. And I was like, oh, this shit's like crack. I get it.
Yeah, and that's that's what I was talking about, the food supply. And like Bruce Gass is talking about like how much sugar in an apple, right? Fructose, right? That exists naturally in foods, right? There's a synergistic effect, like in a thing called apple. It has all these other things that balances out, and that becomes like actually a good sugar versus like an isolated compound refined sugar or high fructose corn.
Oh yeah, fruits and veggies are good sugars.
Right. Those are like simple sugars that your body can use and maintain and all this other stuff. But if you isolate that thing and then turn that into like something that doesn't have any nutritional value, it's just a fucking drug. But our food supply is such that like damn near everything has salt and sugar in it through its processing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so I go to farmers market probably about 3-4 times a week.
So the idea that you could now grow your own food supply is not like the idea to have it is easy, but actually implementing that is tough as fuck.
No, it is because it's a habit, especially if your whole life you've been eating a certain way. Like you have to break the habit, but what I'm saying, like there is things that will force you into it, right? Near-death experiences or finding out, hey, bro, you diabetic, you gotta change your shit, you're gonna die. People shape up real quick. All of a sudden, it's easy. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, yep, I'm gonna die. Nope, can't have that. I'm gonna die. Nope, I'm not have that. I'm gonna die. And it's like, but unless you're like, I'm fine, I'm cool. One of these ain't gonna hurt. So I changed my diet, but it's like
that should tell you how hard it is to change. Like the motivate. Okay, so that's another indication of how hard it is to change people's minds. The precipitating event, the catalyst for that change, right? If you have to lose your leg or to have the force of like losing your life or a limb in order to change your habits, that tells you how hard it is to change your habits.
For sure. But what I'm saying, once you make that change based on the fear of death or whatever, you realize I could have just did this years ago. It's just your mentality was what got into
it. But that's what I'm saying. That's the way. Because all right, so wow, we're talking about like human beings, like the way our brains work and our habits, right? So,
but that's because people are mentally weak. They don't exercise their fucking brain.
It's not even that. It's not even that. It's the way that the brain works. We adapt to stuff. Like that is why our systems are the way they are. Like what you're talking about, like like bootstrap and be an agent, don't make excuses, all that stuff. All of that is a coping mechanism and a justification for living a fucked up system. But we adapt to the fucked up system and we make excuses for the fucked up system and how to interact with the fucked up system instead of saying the system's fucked up and we need to change it. Right? It's just kind of like that kind of thing. It's just,
but that's life though, bro. That's
we adapt to shit. I got it.
Survival.
We adapt to it until you can't adapt to it. Until enough people get fed up, and then you get it like a shooting war because they go like, "Hey, we now have a better idea about how to do that thing," and then the system like just repeats itself. But all I'm saying to you is what the human being is willing to conceive as and construct as normal may be a hellhole for somebody else. Like people living in Rwanda are living like for the West, right? If you lived in like Afghanistan, you'd be like, oh, how the fuck do these people live this way? Why don't they just do this other thing? Because it's just you adapt to your surroundings, right?
But that's why I said like mental is one of the hardest roadblocks to get over. But if you concentrate on it, it's kind of one of the easiest things to change. I feel like it is, but I'm only speaking from personal experience. But like, it's just that people don't use it. Like people don't consider their brain like the rest of their body. People want to work out and push weights to get their muscles bigger. They want to run to get their cardio right, but people don't sit there and think and do shit for their brain to be able to adapt and be able to say, hey, this ain't good for me. Let me stop doing this, instead of being like, well, this is all I know. This is all I know. Like, no, like at a certain point, if you care now, if you don't care, because there's a lot of things I don't care about. Like I said, I still eat unlimited on the weekend. Like Monday through Friday, I'm usually, fasting, eating pretty good. Yeah. When I know when Saturday come, bro, I'm eating everything. I'm eating cheesecake at 1 o'clock in the morning. Correct. I don't give a fuck.
Correct. So, and education doesn't stop you from doing that.
Yeah, for sure. But I am conscious of what I'm doing, and I know what I'm doing, and I'm not gonna act like I don't. The thing is, I just also want to enjoy some fun things in life. Like I don't like the difference between living till 80 years old or 90 years old, a 10-year difference. I might want to, when I'm 80, push 10 more years. But at the same time, if I lived a boring ass life, what does it mean? I'd rather have a life full of things that I enjoy and excitement, even if they are a little bad for me at times, and just say I did it and know that I died and I got to experience shit. I don't want to like live until 105 and all I did was fucking eat plants and fucking stay in my house and not do shit because I'm scared of life. Fuck that shit.
But see, that's the thing. It's an entire, like, you built an entire reality and existence around eating like shit.
That shit tastes good.
You actually even made it a virtue, eating like shit. You're like, one of the principles of living a fulfilled life is eating like shit.
Yeah, for sure. Because I had days where I didn't eat shit. I didn't know where my next meal was coming. So like, I guess for me, a part of my quote unquote success as a human being now is like I get to eat. That's why I'll go buy $100 steak and I'll go eat that shit. I'll go to food festivals. I'm out here because I'm like, fuck it. I remember days I didn't get to eat nothing. I had to eat niggas leftovers. Hey, you gonna touch it? You gonna finish all that? You gonna throw that away? Like that was me. I was a friend where I said, nah, I'm good. I ain't hungry until everyone was done eating. I'm like, you gonna throw that away? Because I was starving. So like I know like psychologically food means a lot to me. The same reason I'll never let anyone not have food in front of me. Like if all three of us are going somewhere, I'm eating, I'm gonna offer at least to buy y'all something. It's just food is a psychological thing, and comfort food, all that bullshit. But I'm saying at the end of the day though, and I know myself, like I went and got my blood checked too, because I thought, damn, I ate a lot of sugar in my life. I might end up being diabetic. And it was cool. So I know mentally the same shit we've been talking about. Like if I had diabetes, they told me, hey, I know I'd have to get my shit together and eat like shit would be over for me. But at least I got to experience that shit. You know what I'm saying? At least I got to eat that motherfucking Krispy Kreme mac and cheeseburger at the fucking fair.
It's just how you value life, right? Like there's some people, like for me, right? If I lived to be 150 years old and I was a hermit and my mind was engaged and all that stuff, and my work helped to like, you know, make everyone else's existence better, then I'd be fine with that. Right? Like I don't necessarily need to interact with people. I don't need to be.
No?
But this is also a thing. This is also a thing. I've lived a whole fucking life. Right? I've been all over the fucking world. I've been to the biggest fucking parties. Fuck till there's no skin on my dick. Like all this other shit. Right? Like I've done. Like I've raised babies. I've started businesses. I've made. You know. I've made enough impact through my own actions that I'm comfortable with what I've done in life. So it's now to the point where I'm not, it doesn't matter to me. Like that kind of shit, like it would be cool. I don't want to die. So I'd be cool to I'd be interested in finding out what it would take for me to live a long life. And if that included like, you know, not being interacting with fucking people, I'd be fine.
But you already had your fun. See, I'm getting to that point now. I'm becoming a little more of a homebody, a little more of a like, I'm cool, but that's because I already did what I did.
Yeah,
I had the fun. What up, OG? How's it going, dog?
What up, Bruce? What up, boys? How we doing today, man?
Chilling. Yeah, you're coming about to impart your decades of wisdom on us.
Well, I hear nutrition, and I always got a hard on for nutrition, bro. You know, I'm with my brother Mex down there. You know, you're not gonna live like a pope. You're not gonna abstain from everything you enjoy. But see, the thing I've learned through my 67 plus years of existence is you can make healthy food taste good. You know, you can. A little bit of knowledge is what you need, man, because nutrition is key, man. Nutrition is key. I have so many of my friends drop by the wayside, fucking 65 years old, diabetes, guts out like this, can just about walk to the car. I mean, I try to tell these people, and you know, they were making fun of me years ago for what I was doing, because, you know, I stopped drinking many years ago, and I gave up fast foods, and I just kind of learned how to cook better because I was into training, bodybuilding, and you know that was my thing. And you know, like I said, you get that body in key, and the head will follow, because you know I saw there was something missing. I had the muscles going. Everything was looking good on the outside, but it wasn't, because I wasn't fueling it right. You know, I went to I started getting into nutrition. And you know, I read a few books. I've taken some courses, and I turned myself into what they call a nutritional technician, where that means that I can write diets. I can, you know, I can become insured as a healthcare practitioner only, but not as a registered nutrition, but as a nutritional advisor, nutritional technician, to get people through diets, through different types of illnesses, to put weight on, lose weight, you know, whatever the case may be. But the thing is, man. You don't have to just eat boiled chicken and lettuce and shit like that, man. You know, you can do a variety of things. And you know, you're talking about sugar, and sugar is in everything, man. I mean, sugar, like Get This Smoke was saying. In fact, I just finished off the last of my edibles here. I got some nice 120 milligram per gummy, and I'm looking at the back, and there's 20 calories per gummy. If you look even closer, there's 20 grams of sugar. Isn't that like a little correlation there, man? You know, 2 grams of carbohydrates, 20 calories, 20 grams of sugar. So where's your calories coming from? But anyway, man, I don't abstain from things like this. It was a piece of candy. My wife had one. I had one. I don't know what she's doing now, but mine's kicking in nicely. And you know, speaking of nutrition, bro, I love to do it. I like to stick my head in here. I like to learn things, because you never stop learning. You know, it's a revolution. Nutrition is totally evolving. You know, an important thing is know the ingredients that are in your food, man. You know, if you can't pronounce the ingredients, it's probably not good for you, because you know, everything that you put in your body that's processed, your body has to unprocess that to get down to the three nutrients. You know, that's protein, fat, and carbohydrates. And, you know, we're talking about sugar. All carbohydrates turn to sugar. Your body processes them some differently. You know, they're fast acting and slow acting. Like a handful of spinach and a handful of cotton candy. They're both carbohydrates. They'll both probably weigh the same thing. But which is the better carbohydrate for you? It's things like that you learn along the journey. That, you know, like I said, bro, 67, and honest, man, I want to hang in there for a few more years, see a few more fights, and fucking rap a little more boxing. But man, thank you so much, boxing section, for giving me a little shot up here, bro. And carry on, gentlemen. I'll do some listening and answer if I can.
Man, we always enjoy you coming on, Brucey Bruce. Shout out to my brother DJ, man. Salute to you, brother.
Hey,
happy birthday and go Birds. Big 3 and that shit.
Today's a special day, bro. It was 42 years ago today that Marvin Hagler won the middleweight title over at Wembley Stadium. And I don't know if you guys remember, but he was pelted with fucking beer bottles. It was disgraceful. It was a fucking horror show, man. But anyway, that was 42 years today, and I'm gonna do a show about that tonight, man. I'm gonna go back and relive it because, man, I was sitting right here hitting on the Toka 2, watching that fucking fight go down. It was a Saturday afternoon, Wide World of Sports. Howard Cosell calling it, man, and yeah, today's like a kind of an anniversary, you know.
Yeah, Marvin Hagler, one of the OG greats, man.
Oh yeah, bro, hanging over my shoulder over here, bro.
Yeah, and I've been looking a lot more into now. I'm in my mid-30s. The weight's a little harder to get off, and it packs on. So I've been like on these YouTube binges trying to figure out more about nutrition and shit. So I definitely appreciate you dropping knowledge on this shit because I'm always learning. But that's why I also know that I'm a fat boy at heart. You know, so I always have been. Like, food is just something. It's just like, bro, I'm gonna go eat that. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna eat that. That one ain't gonna kill me. That's how I think about it. Because I do like a 75-25. Like I said, Monday through Friday, I'm pretty much doing intermittent fasting, maybe one meal a day. But because I only eat one meal a day, I'm a lot more conscious on what that meal is. So it's usually, you know, chicken or salmon, some veggies, whatever. But then I know when that weekend hits, plus I have something to look forward to. So if I'm thugging it out during the week, and I'm like, all right, man, but yeah, this weekend I'm gonna eat some deep fried Oreos. I'm gonna go ahead and get that cheesecake. You know, I'm thinking about it. So that's been working for me. I shedded a lot of pounds, but I also know that if the doctor ever told me, bro, you gotta cut it all out or else you're gonna die, I know, like, hey, well, I had a good run. You know, then I know I tried everything I should try because I don't want to be in heaven and motherfuckers talking about, bro, have you ever had a deep fried wood? And I'm like, nah, I just ate salad my whole life. I'm like, nah, hell nah.
So here's the thing. I have no interest in eating a deep fried Snicker, and I also have no interest in sticking my pecker in a sex worker. Like, that's just like there's experiences that you want to have, and then like it's the experiences that you want to have that make fulfilled life for you, right?
Yeah, but see, he was so right on that on that percentage thing because see when I was dieting religiously now I mean compared to most people I eat really clean, but compared to the way that I used to eat when I was bodybuilding when I was eating 6 meals a day and believe me, on 6 meals a day I lost weight. I could lose a pound a day if I wanted to, but still I have those meals because see what happens is you have that 1 meal a day and your body goes into like a fasting mode and knows it's not going to get another meal for the rest of the day. So it doesn't want to release the fat, which is actually energy stored. You know, that's how your body stores energy. So you know what I would recommend. You know, I'm not going to tell you how to diet, but see, I would recommend having maybe 5 small meals a day instead of that one big meal. And you can like put a protein shake, a meal replacement. That could be a meal. But the thing is, man, if your body knows it's going to be fed every 3 hours, it's not going to store fat. It doesn't have any need to. And, you know, our bodies go back to when we were hunters and gatherers. And if it knows there's a steady supply coming in and these small meals, small, nutritious, you know, small, like little place. I have a piece of broiled salmon, a little 4-ounce piece and some vegetables on the side. And that's a meal, maybe a baked potato if I'm hungry. But, you know, once your body knows it's going to be fed every 3.5, 4 hours, it has no need to store any of the calories. And, you know, that's a good way to trick your body into losing energy. But there's so many different things you can do, bro. And, man, I mean, just, you know, follow some of the things I do on YouTube, the places I go, because I got some good sites I go to. I know some guys have been doing this since the fucking 80s, man. You know, tried and true. And like you said, man, you have that weekend. I used to have a cheat day with my old lady. We'd go out, we'd go to Fridays or something, have the calamari, the fucking beer, the pizza, whatever the fuck it was. But, you know, that one day we'd cheat and then go right back on that diet. And you know, I haven't had a pound with fucking weight and damn, since I was fucking in my fucking 20s, you know, like my late 20s. So it's definitely not, it can definitely be managed real well. And like I said, man, you're never hungry, you're never full, you're never bloated. Your body is just constantly in a it's almost like you get it into your metabolism, you raise it because it knows it's going to be fed in another 4 hours, so it metabolizes the food. You probably shit a little bit more, but I mean, really, it's the only way that I've found that you can.
I have a question for you. I have a question for you, Bruce. A process question. How many days a week do you cook?
When I was dieting religiously, I would probably cook 2 to 3 days a week. I had a George Foreman grill, best thing I ever had back in the day. I do 2.5, 3 days worth of chicken breasts on there, put them in the refrigerator or the freezer if it was an extra day. And and I was happy with frozen vegetables and a baked potato back in the day. Now my wife cooks every night for me. She likes to cook, but she knows how to make something that you would swear has got fucking 3,000 calories in it, and it's only got like 500-600 calories. It's all on how you spice your food, the way you cook it. Air fryer, great fucking thing. But no, I know what you mean. Smoke. And when I was dieting really heavily, I didn't have time to cook, man. 2-3 days a week, that was fine. Put an hour to marinate those chicken breasts, put them in the George Foreman grill, and see, I had the mindset where I didn't give a fuck what I ate as long as it filled me up and it was healthy for me. I would eat almost anything, and that's just the school I came from. I was from the old iron school, and we Tupperware. Everybody brought their own fucking food with them where they went. Canned potatoes were big. You just go buy a can of potatoes, dump the water out, and you've got a fairly clean carbohydrate. So I mean, it's there's a lot of ways to prepare, but preparing is key, man. You're right though, my brother. You definitely have to put some preparation into it, and you can have an absolutely clean diet, bro.
And then the other thing is like ingredients. Because I was talking about just like the way that the food supply is now. Like Archer Daniel Midland provides basically all of our groceries. Like, are you like a farmer's market guy? Are you fine with what happens in the supermarkets? Like, how do you navigate that thing about the quality of the ingredients going in?
Well, if I could afford organic, farm raised, free range, I'd buy that. But unfortunately, I go to Stop and Shop, whatever's on sale. If the chicken breasts are 79 cents, $1.79 a pound for the boneless, skinless, I'll buy 5 pounds of them and put them in the fridge. But I eat as fresh as possible. I'm not above having a couple of packs of instant mashed potatoes in there in case nobody feels like peeling a potato. But it's not as strict as it was back in the day. But back in the day, every night I'd stop at I'd grab a steak. It all depends if I was trying to gain weight or lose weight. But fresh as can be is great. But if you're doing it like in eating like competition wise or something like that, training wise, then you have to freeze it, thaw it out. You go to hotels, you're on the road. That's when you have to have your own food with you if you want to lose weight, man. If you're at the mercy of fast food and shit like that, then you're fucked. That's where you have to bring bring some food in the Tupperware. Wrap up some shit. But you're at the mercy of a Burger King, man. You can blow your whole you can blow a month's worth of dieting in 4 or 5 days if you don't prepare for it. Wes, salute, brother.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, no, I don't need one.
I was on mute. So I was talking to you. I'm on mute and everything. So yeah, being like the born, raised NOI, Nation of Islam thing, we already had the How to Eat to Live, and that whole deal was just like beans and 1 meal a day stuff. Like the nutrition in it, I felt like it gave a really good foundation, but it also was like a kind of strange. When it comes to like what Max was talking about, like your experience, like you want to enjoy your life, not just live. Like quality of life has to do with you experiencing the things that you want to, and also replicating the things that you enjoy.
But it also depends on how drastic you are, how much weight you have to lose. If you're in a category, like you said, if the fucking guys in the white coats are telling you, bro, if you don't lose 25 pounds, next time I see you, you might as well have your fucking life insurance paid up. You know what I'm saying, man? There are different stages. And as we get older, I run into different, when I was working, I was running into different people who like that. If you're young and you can get away with eating processed food, you can get away with it with a Big Mac every fucking day, man. I could do that when I was 19 and 20, but then you get in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s. And man, I haven't eaten food like that in ages, man. I couldn't even tell you how many days it would take me to fucking to detox if I went to McDonald's for a fucking a super meal, you know.
Yeah.
It's just if you want to stay healthy, you have to eliminate some things from your diet. And see, what I found is an easy thing to do. Once every week, try to eliminate one thing that's not good for you, and you're gonna have to replace it with something too. Because, like, you know, if you eliminate fucking soda, you're gonna have to replace that. You're gonna have to drink it, man. You know, my thing, you know that smoke right here, man. Fucking H2O. It's basically the only thing that I fucking drink, man. It's key. It hydrates the brain. Somebody was talking about working out too much and losing their fucking train of thought and shit like that, man. Keep that fucking body hydrated. That's key, man. It's all part of the whole fucking healthy plan. Like you said it, get to smoke, man. Fucking, you know, eat to live, the whole fucking 9 yards, man. You know, sleep every night. Fucking
eat when you're hungry, sleep when you're tired. But that idea about, like, when your body is hungry is like that's the thing. And your mind, like, you know, what you're saying, like, get your mind right and your body will follow. Like, people don't understand that, like, emotions are like our brain function, right? Like, they think that it's some other thing other than your mind at work. And people eat emotionally. That's why you get morbidly obese. That's why you can eat yourself into a grave. It's because you start sublimating and your brain starts firing in different ways and your body just follows, right?
Well, see, I said get your body in shape and your mind will follow. But it's the same fucking thing, man. Get your mind in shape and your body will follow, because it's the whole fucking inner you, the outer you. You have to commit yourself to anything you fucking do, bro. Even on this YouTube, you know it, bro. I mean, you can't just fucking do it half-assed. Everything you do, if you want to live long and you want to fucking, if you want to lose weight, get rid of fat, you have to eat properly. You have to do it right. You have to study, you know, find out what your BMI is, your BMR, all different things about your body. And you can eat it's not a cookie cutter operation. Everybody's different. You know, some people can get away with doing more carbs than fats or proteins. And, you know, it's a science, but it's not an exact science. And if people just do a little bit of research and, you know, ask around, talk to people in the industry, in the field, and you know, you can get yourself in shape weight wise pretty easily now. You know, all you have to do is have a little bit of self control, and with what we know and how you can prepare foods healthy, you can eliminate so many different calories from them. There's you know, obesity is rampant. It's fucking wild, bro. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, I go out there and I look at people, I'm like, oh my God, man, you know.
We're the heaviest people, like, on earth, the Americans. We, like, I think the average weight for like the average height and weight now is like 5'9" and 170 pounds. Like, when I was growing up, it was still 5'9", but it's like 140 pounds, right?
Oh yeah, bro.
150, between 150, 40 and 150 pounds. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing to be conscientious about. No, don't fucking dwell on it, but just do it. If you're not satisfied with the way you look, or if you get out of breath by just fucking running up to your car and, you know, in and out of the store, then you have to do some evaluation. You have to do things like, you know, put the cigarettes down if that's your problem. Fucking just go over your entire diet, man, and go through it. Do I need this? Is my mind stronger than the fucking weaknesses of, you know, I want to eat fucking popcorn with butter on it every night? You know, I'm gonna stop doing that. You know, I'm gonna fucking not do it. And you know, that's what separates the fucking ones who succeed to the ones that don't succeed. Because the tools are out there. You just have to apply and a little bit of discipline. But anyway, man.
Yeah, that is what's up. And you got up here to talk about sugar. I have like a couple things, because my thought process on it, and from my own understanding, and you can correct me where I'm wrong. Like, the idea about sugars, right? The difference between like a high fructose corn syrup or a naturally occurring sugar, like when you get it when you get it in an apple, right? You have all of the other parts of the apple that are contributing to the benefits that you get from the sugar, right? So you have the pulp, you have you have the skin that also have all these nutritional benefits that are potentiating the benefits, and mitigating the bad, like the damage that like sugar can do, right? To your body, like not just to like your brain process, because you start to crave sugar if you have enough sugar, but also just like the breakdown, like having your pancreas overwork or your kidneys being overworked where it tries to process the stuff.
Well, see, that's the difference between a complex carb and a simple carb. You know, a simple carb would be a fucking a cookie. You know, the carbohydrates in white flour and white bread and a piece of candy. You get a quick energy blast. It overtaxes your liver, your pancreas. You have to produce the insulin to fucking to break it down. And after that, it's got no nutritional value. But you get the same fucking sugar from like an apple, like you said. You've got the fucking vitamin A in there. You got the pectin in there. You know, you've got the bromelain. You've got all kind of nutrients in an apple that you won't. But it's the same amount of calories. Sugar is sugar, bro. I was trying to tell you guys that your body knows no difference between a fucking sugar from an apple or sugar from a fucking teaspoon of white fucking poison. It's the same thing.
No, yeah, it's just it just processes the sugar delivery system differently.
Complex carbs lower, so that your body doesn't have to your liver and your pancreas aren't overtaxed with that fast blast of sugar.
Right, exactly. That's what we're going for. Okay, so it was just the language being used. Okay, I got it. We have the same like kind of idea about what's going on. Okay, cool.
Reggie, what's happening, brother?
What's up, Reg? Oh.
We're talking healthy up here, Reggie. I got hooked into it somehow, bro. But
and we're talking about getting older. It's happy birthday to Kyle all day today.
Oh, I didn't know it was Kyle's birthday today, bro. Happy birthday, man. How old is it?
Man, appreciate it.
Happy. You know, I relish birthdays. I think birthdays are so important, man. It is your fucking day, brother. I mean, nobody owns this day like you, bro. And I like to make people feel special on their birthday because it's a special day, man. And you know, nobody's gonna know it unless you tell them. So, bro, you should have told me when you come up here. It should be on your thumbnail, bro. Kyle's birthday. Because man, happy birthday, my brother.
Yeah, I also think birthdays are special. We go, or at least I do. I go big. It takes me about a month to celebrate my birthday.
I don't go big.
I don't know if it's a culture thing, but yeah, that's me. But I only celebrate my birthday now really every 10 years, just because I have so many like family members and kids and all that other stuff. Like my birthday season started 2 weeks ago with my dad and then my niece. But like my birthday season goes from the late August all the way until February. And I have, you know, somewhere between 30 and 50 birthdays in my like immediate family. So I just stopped celebrating my thing yearly and started doing it every decade, and then just go big. It takes me about a month to do the whole thing.
I forget him all the time. I try to remember him. You know, I got, you know, family all over the country. I like to at least give him a text, you know, maybe a phone call if I'm up to it. But I don't know, man. It's kind of the older you get. I remember old guys back when I was a kid saying, "Oh, they should give us our birthday off at work." And I'm laughing. What the fuck are you talking about your birthday? Who gives a fuck about your birthday? But you know, the older you get, and kind of the more you celebrate the birthdays of the greats that are out there. You know, like I mean, you know, we used to celebrate Ali's and Haglers, all the OGs that were alive, and they all passed, and we can't celebrate their birthdays anymore. So I like to always give them a shout out when I can. You know, if I'm twitted with them, I like to give them a tweet, and you know, I like to celebrate birthdays, especially of the greats, man. You know, that's always something.
So I share a birthday with George Washington, and growing up, that was a holiday, and then they changed it to fucking President's Day. So I used to get school off and shit and all that stuff when I was.
Bummer. My birthday is right around Christmas. It's like 4 days after, so it was always a drag because it was.
Oh, wait a minute! Yours is you're the 26th.
No, 4 days. 4 days.
Oh, okay, yeah. My aunt is the 26th. Sorry.
And you know when your kids, your aunts and your uncles always give you something. They always give you a present.
Yeah.
they would give us one on give me one on Christmas. Oh, that's for your birthday too. And I'd be like, what the fuck, you? My brothers and my sisters, their birthday would be in August and July, and they'd get something. I got a double, But hey, I still dig it. And my wife's birthday is like the day after mine. It's weird. Mine's on the 29th, and hers is on the 31st. So hey.
Oh, it's hers is Christmas. Hers is New Year's Eve.
Yeah, so I say to her, listen, you don't give me anything, I won't give you anything, and we'll, happy birthday.
And we'll kiss each other at midnight. Call it good.
Exactly, exactly, man.
Oh, if she's your wife, she know what she getting for her birthday.
Every year, at least once a year, she's gonna give it up.
Boy, Bruce will be knocking it out, boy.
Yeah, we take it to a hotel now, right? I'm still at the age. I'm not where Bruce is yet. So we still take it to a hotel, but yeah, it's the same fucking thing.
Last year, she said, "Take me to someplace I've never been." I said, "Let's go to the kitchen."
Hey, the funniest shit was Smoke said, "I have no desire to eat an Oreo,
deep fried
Oreo, a stick my pecker, in a sex worker."
Hey, deep fried Oreos are fire. Hey, the deep fried Snickers and Twix and shit, this shit's way too sweet though. I took one bite of that at the fair when I went with my daughter. That shit was disgusting. Couldn't do it. But deep fried Oreos, those are still smacking. I still fuck with those. Deep fried Twinkies too much, too sweet. I've tried all of it. I've tried deep fried everything. I mean, I've been trying to get off fried food too because the oil and shit. You know what I'm saying? I got the air fryer now, so that's helped out a lot. But still, like fried shit is good, bro. Like I don't know what's in it, but god damn, when you fry something, it just makes it that much better. That hot, crispy, just everything.
Well, I bought one of those air fryers a couple of weeks ago. Those are great, man. Those are fucking nice.
Dude, those are magical. That's just some motherfucking mad science and shit because I put a whole chicken breast in that bitch. And I mean, I've never in my life seen juice squirt out of a fucking chicken breast after it's cooked. And I thought I undercooked it. I said, there's no way this shit says, nah, I need to throw it in a little longer. This shit's, no, it wasn't pink or nothing, but I just couldn't trust it. I said, nah, there's no way this shit's this juicy. I've never had chicken like that. So I throw it in a little longer. But man, air fryers are the business. I highly suggest it to everybody that cooks at home for sure.
Definitely. I'm from New England and we have, fried clams and scallops and fish and chips and fried shrimp. You can make those in the air fryer. Fucking no added calories from the frying, bro. I mean, that's a way to save some fucking calories and get healthy. Get an air fryer, bro. Have a George Foreman grill, but that was 30 years ago. Now get yourself an air fryer, man. You definitely will do your body some good with that. Eliminate frying and the saturated fat, because that's the killer right there, especially the black men, bro. High blood pressure, diabetes, fucking saturated fat is the killer. Eliminate that from your diet, man. I'm telling you, that's one of the most important things to eliminate from your diet, the saturated fats. And they have, in nutrition, they have good fats and bad fats. The butter, the lard, those are saturated fats. That's what's going to clog your lungs up. That's what's going to raise the cholesterol. But you got the good fats like the salmon. My brother was talking about the salmon. Best fucking thing in the world, man. It's loaded with fat, but it's good fat. It's what they call omega fats. Very good for you as opposed to the saturated fats. So that's just a little thing, man. Get that George Foreman grill. You can eat well and definitely much more heart healthy. Keep the brothers alive. Tony Manzano, what's happening, brother?
Hey, Bruce. How are you?
All right, where's the crazy question? Come on, Tony, hit us with it.
I'm trying to get in before we lose power over here in Florida.
Oh, bro, stay safe, man. You on the West Coast?
Yeah.
Oh,
we're
brother.
about to get hit later tomorrow.
My prayers are with you, my man.
Thank God you guys don't have to deal up there with hurricanes in New England, dude.
Oh, yes, we have, man. Yes, we have. There's been some fucking hurricanes that have wiped the coast of New England out. I had to leave. I've been living in this house now for 40 years, and I've been evacuated from here.
Did you get hit by Sandy?
Yeah. We got hit by hurricane. I can't remember if it was Sandy. We got hit by Hurricane Bob. But But back before they knew it was coming and they weren't expecting it, there was like the hurricane of 54. It fucking annihilated Rhode Island. I mean, killed fucking hundreds of people. Just fucking. I know the fucking, what you're going through is what I'm trying to say, man. It's fucking hell. It's fucking sucks. God bless you, brother. I hope you're safe.
Dude, at least we're not in California who deals with earthquakes that you don't even know when those things hit. I feel bad.
Now you're talking my thing. I was here. I was
when a earthquake is going to hit ahead of time.
I was here for I'm not
a hurricane or a tornado or something like that where you can leave.
Yeah, so I was here for the '89 earthquake. The house I kind of grew up with. We had fire. We have fires in California, and we have earthquakes. And fire for the fire that burned down my. Say again.
And liberals.
Yeah, I mean, liberals are all over the country. Like liberals are all over the country. Like, really, the issue is like progressives, right?
Oh yeah, the California kind. There you go.
Everybody's a liberal. Like, I think that everybody likes to vote and like freedom of speech and stuff.
Yeah, what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that weird.
We got progressives. Yeah, we got people who like understand that like you can't look back, 200 years to like find solutions for modern day problems. We're chock full of people like that.
Yeah, we're chock full of weirdos that think men are women and women are men.
Yeah, man. Listen, it's a brave new world, and people are like, some people would like to pull the covers over their head and pretend like we're still living the 1800s or the 1500s. That shit is not happening. Yes, it's weird for me. I don't want to give birth. I'm not gonna augment my. I don't. But I don't have to do it. It's not my issue, right? So I don't actually have to care about it.
Hey, a man can give birth. Remember, that's the new wave now.
Well, really, it starts off this way. This is how it starts off, Max. It starts off that a woman past menopause gets a hysterectomy implant or transplant, and then she can give birth, right? So once you can do a womb, or not a hysterectomy, but once you get a womb transplant, right? Once you can put it into anybody. Then a man can give birth, and then what's the diff? Like, what does it matter how you were born as? And really, what does it matter anyway? What's it to you?
So the '89 earthquake, was that the one that hit California during the World Series with the Athletics?
Oh yeah, the San Francisco Giants, the Oakland A's. It was the bridge collapsed, people died. It was a mess.
I saw highlights, and people weren't in the stadium, I think, and I'm surprised that's.
Oh, you broke up there, Tony. You lost it. Yeah, I don't really understand. To me, like the conservative argument doesn't really make sense to me if you're not like a religious person. Like, it's very strange for like Mex. You come across as a person who is like, you want to be in the church, but you don't really want to be in the church.
Church.
Say again? Yeah.
I left the church. I left the church in the middle of my catechism. That was cool.
Yeah, it sounds like you haven't really left, though.
No, I still have morals and standards. I'm agnostic, but I don't believe in religion.
But who doesn't have morals and standards? It's just kind of like you're just saying.
There's a lot of motherfuckers ain't got morals and standards, dog. There's a lot of them.
No, it's just that they don't have yours, right?
Nah, they don't have basic human decency.
I mean, but do you?
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, all my shit's in response to shit. I didn't go out of my way to fuck with nobody. I come on here if there's a subject matter brought up, I state my opinion, and everybody comes out.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the
random people on the street.
Yes, the compassion that you give to your fellow human being.
Yeah, I just don't make excuses for them.
Nah, I'm just talking about being compassionate. I'm not even talking about making excuses. I'm just saying like being able to.
Max.
Yes, again.
What about sex workers? You don't show them the same level of
they're less than. You already know they're less than.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. This old idea about standards. It's like,
they're less than. They walk the street at night selling their pussy. Like they're less than.
So for me, less than is like judging people for their circumstances and what they do. Like, so for me, that the standard, like that's all I'm saying is everybody has a moral framework that they operate from.
Yeah, but everyone has a basic one, like don't kill people, don't rape people, don't rob people.
I don't even know if everybody has that. Like, even the people who do all of those things, they also have a standard of moral system that may include robbing and killing or raping or walking the street at night.
Yeah,
they still just have morals and standards. It's just like,
Max,
cross before ass is the moral and standard, right?
They sell their body so you don't have to.
Oh man, in that case, they're my heroes.
No, like straight up, like
let's have a sex worker holiday where everyone gets a day off and gets a freebie or something.
Like straight the fuck up. So one of my homies, right? He was, swimming around in an ocean, and he did a dive and he hit a sandbar and fucking paralyzed himself. And it took him. He got paralyzed. It took him forever to learn how to walk and talk and all that shit. But it took a fucking sex worker for him to get his like sexual identity back, because like, normal women don't have that kind of patience or knowledge or whatever the fuck. So he like swears by him. And that's the thing that sort of turned the tide for me in my mind, the way I thought about him, even though I still am not trying to fuck, because I'm not in that position. But yeah, I stopped being so judgmental about him when I heard that.
Hey, so she was more of a person. Listen, hey Max, think about this. The sex worker had more compassion for her fellow man than these skeezers and skanks around this motherfucker. Hey, change your stance now, Max.
I will not change my stance, because actually the skeezers and skanks do it for free. So sex workers gonna do it because they're getting paid. They don't really care.
Yeah,
the bitch you meet Friday night at the club that just want to suck your dick because she like you. Those are the heroes.
Yeah, the question is, does she know how to suck a dick, and will she suck your dick if you're a paraplegic?
I mean, I'll teach her. Will it work? Will my dick even get worse? Will my dick even be worth sucking if I was paraplegic?
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's worth whatever she charges, right?
But I'm telling you right now, the day my dick go, you can just pull the plug on my life. I'm good. I've accomplished everything I need to accomplish up to that point. Not saying I get to use it that often, but just the fact that it will be taken away from me and I don't even have the option of using it. Nah, we good. I'm gonna go start skydiving, no parachutes.
Are you gonna get nostalgic for all those skeezers that gave a shit about your dick back in the day that you didn't give a fuck about? Like,
Hell yeah.
You're gonna like shed a tear for all the people you've been fucking disparaging for your whole life?
Yeah. I mean, shout out to all the hoes in my life that have given me some play just for being me. Y'all some real heroes. At the same time, you fucked up.
Do you want to look over your whole life and be proud, right?
Oh, bro, I'm proud. Hey, I wouldn't say I'm proud of my whole life, but I wouldn't change it. There's only maybe like 2 major changes I'll make in my life, and mostly have to do with education. But other than that, I mean, everything I've been through, the good, the bad, and the ugly, made me who I am, and I'm actually at peace with myself, which took a long while, but I'm here. I only have one unresolved issue in my life, and that'll probably never get resolved. So just gotta wait till they die out.
Hey, Deuce, I hope you get some friends in your life, Deuce. If you find it hard to believe that I have friends, that means that you just haven't figured out the friend game at all. But good luck to you. God damn.
Yeah. Hey, Deuce is funny, bro. I gotta kick with Deuce in person, man. That motherfucker seems like a hoot. That'd be funny.
Yeah, that's
nigga. Did you just say a hoop?
Yeah.
Jesus, a knee slapper. A hand.
Oh, my bad. You don't know about that culture, Kyle? Well, sometimes white people sometimes you'll just have a grand old time, or it might be a hoop. You know what I mean? You never know.
What city are you in, Max?
I'm in Marina, over here by Monterey.
Oh, okay. Are you have the 101?
Yeah, off the one.
Oh, you have to. Okay, shit. All right, you nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear it. Yeah, okay, well, shit. Yeah, all right. You greatly great, then you shouldn't have so much hate.
Nah, I got out the hood. That's why I'm cool now. I'm good. Like, I got away from that shit, man. I mean, I was still very close. I mean, because Salinas is only a hop, jump, and a skip, and I work in Salinas and shit. But as far as walking out my house, I got to worry about getting shot. I don't really got to worry about people robbing me and doing all kinds of weird shit. I mean, there's still thieves and tweakers places, but I'm saying I don't think there's any gangs in Marina at all. I don't think there's not a block here. There's not a designated homeless spot. Like, so, I like it.
Yeah, we know different parts of Salinas then. Shit, Salinas is cracking like that?
Oh, man, if you ain't never been to China, man, put it this way, 3/4 of Salinas is not good. Like, there's only one part of Salinas where you could feel like, I'm probably cool going right here, and that's the south side. East side's crazy. North side and west side are the same shit. Not as crazy, but it's just, crazy enough where you got to still watch yourself. So
yeah, I don't know either one of those. I don't even know Salinas well enough to know that there was like different directions in it. I just know the part that's like right over the Golden Gate Bridge, where you fuck with it, and went sailing. I had my boat fucking parked there. Anyway, whatever, it's all good.
Oh no, Salinas, the Golden Gate Bridge, we far from that. I'm like 2 hours south of the bay. I'm like an hour south of San Ho. So we ain't got no in Salinas. I don't think there's any bridges or water or any of that shit. But right here where I live, there is. But that's all I'll say. I live like 10 minutes walking from my house to the ocean. But it's not that extravagant because I live like in a small little town per se, where like nothing's really open past like 9. So when you want some late night activities, you still got to go elsewhere.
Maybe let me make sure I got the right fucking city. Like I said, I didn't hang out there. I just had doctor. I might be fucking with the wrong city totally.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest going to Salinas for any extracurriculars or anything to. I mean, it's not bad. Even if you stop by the mall, it's not bad. But it's just like it's like we got probably one of the worst malls in America. It's trash. It's a fucking straight Bison Mall for the Mexicans, and man, they ain't got nothing. When they took demo out, I knew that my time was coming to an end. When I couldn't buy no more Jabot jeans and Sean John jackets, I knew it was over.
Oh, what you know about the Jabots with them fucking
bro, I'm still looking for
Jabot,
bro.
What do you know? I had the whole Jabot fits. I had jeans, the jackets, the shirts, all that shit. Yeah. The little fucking loop for your belt tooth, like to keep your pants up, like that little thing in the front. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Jabots.
Yeah. That's why I fucked with the Jabots. They had the straps on the bottom, so you didn't have to drag the back of your jeans around and shit.
Yeah. They had all these like little the French jeans. They had all these little little fixes for shit at that point. Like if you wore a belt and your pants, like it was baggy jeans, but they were fitted baggy jeans. But so if you wore baggy jeans back in the day and you wore a belt, it would gather in the front. So what Jabot did, they put a fucking loop right in front, so the tooth of your belt buckle, you put that shit through the loop, and it would lift the front of your shit up. So you could wear you could wear your baggy pants without having that little gather and droop shit in the front. Like, yeah, anyway, little fixes like that. It was cool. Little touches.
Yeah. Hey, Jabots are one of my favorite pairs of jeans. And the other pair of jeans, I think, because I used to wear a lot of Rockaware jeans back in the day, but they were always like, one length. But my shit was when they came out the state property denim, that shit was soft. That shit was fucking comfortable ass denim, bro. That shit was really good denim. I like that shit. But yeah, that was the era, man. That was Jabots is a whole special place in my heart, and I'm still always looking for a pair. So if anybody got the plug on Jabots, which I'm assuming that some of y'all in the town probably still got some places that got them, I just don't know where they at.
I get my denim from a spot on Piedmont Ave, and it's like Levi heavy, but it's like, it's where I get my fix after moving back to the Bay from LA, because LA has plenty of fucking stores. There's this one, there's a store called American Rag, like a boutique. They have one on Van Ness that's been there for fucking ever, but that shit closed down. But the one in LA is fucking dope. That's where I got all my shit from. And moving here, it's been a little bit of dearth. I don't really fuck with the city like that anymore. So yeah, just right up there on Piedmont Avenue, they got this this one denim shop. Fucks with it.
I'm still listening to you smoke, but man, it's all going so far over my head, bro. I'm fucking Levi's and fucking t-shirts, you know?
Yeah, that's what it's a bunch of Levi's. But it's like, you know, you might spend like $300 on a pair of Levi's or maybe 50. No, yeah, it's kind of hard to get a pair of Levi's for under $100 from there, but yeah.
The jeans I used to pay big money for back in the day, designer jeans, and that they were like $50 up to like 100, and it was like whoa, and that was like Sergio Valenti and fucking Jordache, you know, fucking big designers. But that was back in the fucking the fucking late 70s, early 80s. After that, fucking Levi's will do. Even the I buy the fucking slim fits, nice and comfortable, plenty of room for the package. No droop, no sag.
You know, Bruce, you may understand this reference. You may remember the Sears brand jean Tough Skins. Remember the fucking Tough Skins?
Yeah, I never had them, but I do remember. Like Sears was like, you know, I mean, that was the place where I think that was the first. Before there was online shopping, that Sears was where everybody got everything in the country at fucking Sears, basically, you know. But yeah, Toughies, yeah, they had all kind of Kenmore. Sears had their different brands with almost everything.
Yeah, Kenmore was that was the thing. That's our, we had the Kenmore washer in my house.
Hey,
what's up?
Bass Reeves, when you come on the channel, that's when we talk about football.
Yeah, that's you know, that's when I take a back seat. I'm still hurt. My feelings are hurt, Kyle. And you know, I remember when the Raiders left the first time and went to fucking LA. And I remember Lionel Wilson bankrupting the goddamn city and putting the Oakland school system in receivership to build a new stadium to bring the Oakland Raiders back home. We still haven't got our school system out of receivership from that shit. And they left again. I'm hurt, man. Elihu tried to fucking keep him. Like, anyway. Yeah, this has been a long suffering goddamn thing. It's too soon. Football is like makes me a little bit sad. I can kind of get with the Niners and I'm watching them and all that shit, but yeah, man, I'm sad.
Yeah, I would New England, man. I used to watch Patriots all the time, but since I came on YouTube about 4 or 5 years ago, I just stopped fucking watching football, man. I did Sunday afternoons, I'm on somebody's show or fucking, you know, jumping around here somewhere, watching boxing, start getting into the old fights again. Start doing fucking research, and I mean, now that you can upload them and put shows out there, it's like, fuck, man, I ain't got time for that boxing.
Why is that? Why do you think that is, Bruce? I had the same fucking thing happen. Like, I love basketball, and I watch football, but yeah, like boxing and chopping up with boxing. Like, I could chop up basketball. I don't even want to. Like, boxing is way more interesting. Why do you think that is?
I don't know, because I think on YouTube here it's really all consuming, because I mean, this is the only place to go for boxing. I mean, shit, man, you can't find boxing anywhere in the world. I mean, you can't go to ESPN's daily fucking spread. I mean, fucking MSNBC, wherever. YouTube is fucking boxing, and anybody who's into boxing, they're on YouTube, and it's not just in the morning, in the afternoon. You can wake up in the middle of the night, you can't fucking sleep. Fucking, you can go put a show on and watch boxing, and then you hear about some of these fights that happen. You know, like a lot of people, they're talking about the fucking chin of Joe Joyce, and I mentioned George Chuvalo, and who's George Chuvalo? And I'm like, oh, bro, you got to go see.
Oh yeah, that's one of the best chins ever. That's an ATG chin.
Yeah. So I mean, bro, I mean, you know, I can get somebody into George Chuvalo. I mean, somebody gets me into you know, some of these lighter weight classes today that I'm not as hip on as I would be. You know, it's just all encompassing. So man, I ain't got time for fucking NFL. I ain't got time for Major League Baseball. I used to live right near Fenway Park, bro. I used to go there for $1.50, sit in the bleachers. We used to bring the fucking Toka 2 with us, a tray, smoke reefer in there back in the 70s. Nobody gave a fuck. I mean, and I knew every baseball player. I knew fucking, you know, fucking Butch Hobson, and I mean, fucking Rice and Lynn. I mean, Boston was, I mean, it's almost like these guys are my friends. But as time goes by and boxing comes on, You know, especially now, like I said, fucking YouTube boxing. Forget it, man. I got no time for anything else, basically. You know, and I'm still trying to keep nutrition around, and you know, still trying to stay hip with the jazz, and you know, fucking you know, whatever it may be. But it's just so limited now because boxing is so, you know, so fucking intense.
Yeah, and for as much as people complain about it, it's really lit from 115 pounds all the way to heavyweight. There's like a couple of divisions that are like, you know, a little not as exciting as others, like relatively speaking, like the middleweights and the cruiserweights. But pretty much you got all kinds of talent and all kinds of storylines and all kinds of great fights to look forward to. I think boxing is, yeah. And it has really been since 2017, boxing just like came back on a really great tear, and it's been on a pretty good one. Pandemic, I think was it like kind of a you know, an obstacle in the path, but we're getting over it. We're getting back to it. Yeah, more undisputed fights happening. Just like, again, just great matchups, stuff for the hardcore fan, like matchups we can think about and dissect, like, you know, for the hardcore fans and the casual fan. I think like knockout artists like Better Beeve and Tank and Wilder, and yeah, like I think it's in great hands.
Well, see, if right now they're giving us so much quantity, and if you keep giving us quantity, you're only going to get quality, because it has to. They have to match each other. The winners have to match up, and we're getting inside. We're getting the meat and the potatoes. So keep giving it to us, man. It's great. This is like, I mean, this is not like nothing. It's even better than the fucking 70s and the 80s. You know, back then it was you know, we'd have 1 or 2 fights on a weekend. Now we're having fucking entire cards, 3 of them on a weekend. You know, it's mind-boggling. You have to really be it's like being a junkie. You're getting a major fix of, you know, back then it was fucking street heroin. Now you're getting fucking fentanyl. You know, you got to be fucking, you know, this is strong stuff. Boxing is fucking crazy, and it's dropping people probably left and right, like you know, like fentanyl, sadly. But you know, it's just a little comparison, man. You know, boxing is the fucking that's the drug.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, one quick thing. Yeah. Hey, Lone Star Steph. Mex and I were never not friends. We just like, it was just a heated discussion about stuff. Like, it wasn't like a personal. Like, I wasn't taking his thing personal. It was just it was just a passionate subject matter. But yeah, Mex is never. I've never thought like fuck that guy. Like, I was never been like mad at Mex. I wasn't upset with the guy or anything like that. It was just like we're talking about some, you know, heated subject. That's all.
I hang around with interesting people. You know?
Yeah, yeah. You know, and I'm an acquired taste. People, I think people misjudge what my like motivations are when I do stuff, and I'm, you know, whatever. I can like yell and shit, but we're like yelling at each other. But it's not. But I do that all the time, every day. Like, it's not on YouTube, not like in my real life, but yeah, on here, you know, it's such a diverse group of personalities. Like, yeah, of course you're gonna get that thing, especially when you're just getting to know somebody. But it's not like a person. I don't take it personally. And I don't think he took it personally. It was never like that serious. Anywho, yeah, I love the boxing talk. I love the YTBC. I love the long form videos. There's if you like the refurbished old school stuff, there's a channel called Smooth Legends where they've like remastered a whole bunch of like fights from the 50s and 40s and 30s and 20s, and you know.
Yeah, I think I've been there before. Like the Marciano fights, all in color. The Joe Louis fights, all the. I mean, it's not. You can see the.
It's just like kind of smaller clips, so that's like the one sort of drawback from it for me. It's like they would do it in 6 minutes. They would do the whole fight in like 6-minute clips. Okay.
Oh, so I'm thinking of another one now. I'm thinking this one is from United Kingdom, I think, and they just get fights in and they make them pretty. They colorize them and they make them real clear.
Yeah, this one does more of like the contrasting and making it clear, and they do more clarity than they do colorization, as far as I've seen. This one doesn't really like add the colorizing. It's just like it's just really crisp images. I took the grainy film
aspect. Yeah, there's nothing like it. You look at some of those, like the Jack Dempsey, Gene Tunney fights, where he's breaking his fucking bones. You watch that after they've high defed it out. It's like, wow, you can see fucking teeth getting knocked out and fucking like ribs cracking. It's just brutal. Well, sometimes I feel like watching those kind of fights, and other times I feel like watching the current stuff. And that's you could have missed like Floyd. I didn't stay awake for Floyd. I tried to, but I think that was on at maybe 2:00 Eastern time or some fucking crazy hour like that. Just the next day, I just made sure I tried not to get the win. Although I knew who won anyway. But it was right there, bango. So we missed nothing.
Yeah, I definitely I like the new generation. I like the passion, the energy. I like the fact that boxing is, like I said, it's in good hands in terms of talent. I think it's a little bit weird when it comes to the broadcasters, and I think the promotion absolutely sucks.
This weekend there's no fights on this weekend. That's a weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I haven't looked on BoxRec for all the fights coming up tomorrow. I'm sure there's some fights going on. I can't believe that some some app is not showing a live fight tomorrow night. Because let's face it, when there's fights on, everybody here on YouTube watches them. You know, prime time.
Exactly, man. Before YouTube, I talked to exactly one person for like 3 decades about boxing.
Yeah.
Right? That's it. Like just but that one person was like a trainer and an Olympian and all this other stuff. And so he was fought smokers and knew all the people of his generation, both, pro and amateurs, because, it's a small fraternity. You know how that works. And that was like, we were just back and forth about all the fucking fights from, who's going to beat Mike Tyson. He had Holyfield. I had Lennox Lewis. He thought Holyfield would beat Lennox Lewis. I thought Holyfield would beat everybody. I mean, I thought Lennox Lewis would beat everybody. All the way up until Crawford and Spence. I used to have Spence in 2016, and he changed my mind in 2017. Well, he said some stuff to me in 2016. Then I saw Errol Spence fight Kell Brook, and I changed my mind then. But on YouTube, I've talked to now like hundreds, if not thousands, of people about boxing, and some people way more knowledgeable than others, and some people are like really highly specialized. Like I just love, it's been just a joy to discover and interact with.
Well, for sure, man. I'm on it too much, it seems, but hey, I don't get in any trouble out here. I don't spend any money out here, so my family's happy with me. So and I'm happy with myself.
Yeah, let me make sure, Steph. I'm pretty sure. I think it's called Smooth Legends. Let me check it out.
I've forgotten the one that I watched redid the fights that I saw. It's in my favorite list. My bookmarks. I think. I haven't been there in a while, but I do remember they had so many classic fights, and I watched several.
Yeah, Steph. It's called Smooth Legends. And if you wanted another great historical boxing channel, my favorite on YouTube, and everyone should sub to this dude and check him out, is the Museum of Forgotten Fisticuffs.
Scrapbook
boxing.
He's the smartest one I ever know, and period, in the world, not just on YouTube, on the internet. He knows more than anybody that I've ever spoken to.
Yeah, he's just next level with the stuff. My God.
Maybe Bert Sugar. I never spoke to Bert. Mad Chad was friends with Bert Sugar. And that would be a conversation that man, I would like to be a fly in the wall with a fucking cassette tape recorder,
The thing I think that separates Bert, from what I experienced from Bert Sugar and what I experienced from Scrapbook was Scrapbook seemed to have been a little bit more hands on with the training of fighters, whereas Bert was a little bit like I don't know, he was a little bit more in the profile of the fighter versus the technical training of him.
I don't know.
I think he knew like more about he was more concerned with the turns of a fighter's career than the way that the fighter developed technically.
I don't know. I just know they're both on a different level than I am, and when
Exactly.
I shut up.
Yeah, exactly. And R.I.P. Kurt Sugar. He was also another guy that like the way he experienced the sport was just like unique and like special, and for the social media boxing is like, man, what a great resource. Kurt Anderson, R.I.P. man.
His birthday's coming up. I'm gonna have I'll do a fucking long show on that day. Speaking of birthdays, bro, we're talking about birthdays. Right around the corner.
Yeah. But yeah, Scrapbook, he's got all the like what makes him interesting is that scrapbook, right? Not just like the way he talks about the whole thing, but he shows you like some original clippings and publications and like fight cards. Like,
Well, I understand that Museum of Fisticuffs is not just a fucking word. That exists.
Yeah.
And, that's a place that a boxing fan could go into and say, and Scrapbook will say, whatever you want, tell them the error, and I'll see you in a couple of days. Throw me in a pack of Twinkies.
Yeah. Yeah. Next, just yeah. We have to appreciate the gems and the treasures where they are for as long as we have them.
And listen, Smoke, I gotta jump off.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it with you, man.
All right.
Kyle, enjoy
Kyle, happy birthday, my brother.
Man, I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for all the world wishes and birthday wishes, man. In the words of the great philosopher Lil E, I want y'all to breathe air and live life. It's always the truth and players meet. Thank y'all for sharing my birthday with me, man. We'll holler at y'all later on. Peace.
Peace.
Say bye. Bye. Say bye, Junior.
Bye, Daddy. I don't want to.